Bow, 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 bow.
What?
Welcome back, everyone. This is a brand new segment called Talking Heads, featuring J and J. I'm Jay, Justin Ruiz.
And I'm Jay, Jeremiah Francois.
So this time around, guys, it's a little bit of a departure from what we normally do. We're not going to be talking about news or pop culture stuff today. We're going to be doing an
No
interview, right?
Spider-Verse.
We have two people here. We're going to be talking about NFTs. I know that's a really weird topic right now, and a lot of people don't know what it is, but we're going to get into it. We're going to get into the nitty gritty.
Yes,
What's the
sir.
risk? What's the rewards? Why you should be doing it? We're going to talk about everything. So with this, our new segment, Talking Heads, we're going to have our very first interview with Rob and Ernest. So, Jay, take it away.
Yeah, so with Rob and Ernest here, I just want to get to know you guys first before we get into this rabbit hole of NFTs, because I've been looking them up and I have a vague idea on what NFTs are. But before we get into all that, I just want to get into I'm gonna ask you some weird questions. Just get in
Perfect.
there. First of all, just to get an idea of who you are. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? Just random.
Raphael
Raphael.
off the hip.
All right.
I'm a
all right.
Leonardo type of dude.
Ernest.
I'm
That's my guy
I'm a
right
Leo.
there.
Yeah. We gonna have to rock like that.
Yeah, Raph.
Yeah.
Raphael.
It's got. We gonna
Nah,
just
not gonna
stop
lie,
it right there.
Now we can all agree we like all the turtles, but you have that specific
All of
one
them.
that identifies who you are. Like I like Leo. One thing is because I like swords, so that's the thing. But Leo's dope. Raph is
Nah,
dope
bro.
too.
Mikey all day.
Mike, I
Yeah.
know he plays with Mikey. Justin with Mikey.
Raph just, for me it's like he was just the odd one. I've always related to the oddball characters. Like I like that he went to go see a movie in a trench coat, he figured out a way,
I'm gonna keep it simple,
okay.
bro. I'm gonna keep it simple. Blue is just the best color ever.
Midnight blue is my favorite color. So.
That's it, bro. Like blue is just the best color
I
ever.
respect
So
it.
if I always thought
I respect it. I like
Mikey
blue.
was for different type of people. Like if you wanted a little, you know what I mean? You want a little sauce on your thing. You want a little extra flair. A little oddball type of guy, that was the way to go. But I was a little Mikey, but I mean,
pizza.
Yeah, pineapple on a pizza. Yeah.
All right, so I get it. You're calling me an oddball. It's all good.
Nah, Mikey is one of my favorites.
That was a great question, though. That's a good icebreaker.
No, I was just like, that's a nice. I gotta get to know
that
who
was
people
good.
are.
No,
right.
That was good.
All right, cool. All right. This one, I feel like I've thought about this myself a lot, but I want to see if you guys have put some thought into this. What if you can live in a fictional world? What would you choose, or what place, or what like where would you like to live?
You want me to take this route? Because I got a crazy one.
Go for it.
I'll go first. All right, for me, I would live in the world of Space Jam. In that type of scenario, like where anything goes, but there's like all sorts of that mashup, and this goes into like a metaverse type of feeling, which I guess we'll get on the subject of a little bit later. But that goes into that of all these mashups of different IPs. And go ahead, Justin. Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about the new Space Jam universe, not the old one where it's just Looney Tunes. You're talking about new legacy.
Well,
yeah, that was my question.
I think that goes well for me. If we're gonna go modern day and jazz it up, it has to be the new modern day. But I feel like the old school with Michael Jordan, I almost said Michael Jackson. Michael Jordan set like the example. It set the stage for them to now expand upon it and bring I'm pretty sure you guys seen it when they had the Flintstones. They had everyone's running to the game. King Kong.
Yeah.
They just flexed their whole IP. So it was just I think that had to set the groundwork because we had all the Looney Tunes show up to that game to see Mike play. So it was let's do it big and better and bring everybody from Warner Bros. So I think living in that world, But if I was back in the day, I would have took whatever the Looney Tunes had to offer. But if we talk about, now, 2021, yeah, give me everybody. Give
Yeah,
me the whole world. Give me everybody on it. But yeah, that's how I'm
it
rocking. I
sounds
want
like
to do
Ready
So-
the.
Player One.
There we go.
So
There we
I'm
go.
caught between two. But I would have to say the Cowboy Bebop universe, just because I like those, dystopian, like future
Like
kind
Firefly.
of, yeah, where they're
Mm.
you're not grounded to one area. Like you could just travel the galaxy and end up, in all
like
different
Blade
types of,
Runner-esque.
yeah, like I just like the
Yeah.
idea that they're not limited to one place, like they can go to Mars if they wanted to, or they can go to the casino,
The asteroid, yeah.
thing that they had. So I would choose that. The other, what I was conflicted with, I really wanted to say too, was My Hero Academia.
That's a good one.
That
See,
shit would be tough.
I was thinking that too, but then I was just like, what if I get a whack power? Like I
Yeah,
have to be
I
in
was just gonna
control.
say, what do you think your quirk would be?
I was
Like,
thinking of that too, and that's what made me not want to say it.
That's
But
a
at the
good choice. You
same
went
time,
Cowboy Bebop though.
I feel like there's people in the My Hero Academia like world that are just, they're cool with whatever weird power they have. You know what I'm
Bro,
saying?
like
it's
Because
how you
your
use
power
it.
could be like you can stir
Yeah.
a pot without like using your hand. Like that could be your quirk. Like you could just
Hey,
look
it's
at a
like
pot and it
and
stirs.
low key,
The
like
master cook.
now a little bit later on in the seasons, like we're seeing people reach like another level of their quirk. So if you could, like, go to like a, like, kind of like the power levels with Super Saiyan,
Bro,
but
Yeah.
they
like
evolving
they're
their
able to, like,
powers.
kind of, yeah, they are, and it's, I think that brings a cool dynamic to it. But yeah, I'm gonna go Cowboy Bebop.
But
though,
I'm gonna
for
say
sure.
that.
okay.
But I'm
I
gonna
like
say
that
that.
because
But
Cowboy Bebop is dope.
I feel like when you join those worlds though, that's a beat down, bro. Like I couldn't say DBZ or like, bro, you might run into All
Because
Might, bro.
Goku's
You
still
feel me?
there.
Like Goku's
Yeah,
still there,
facts.
bro.
I
You know
feel
what I'm
like
saying? Like you gotta be careful
I feel like if I
running into
join
those
those
type of
worlds,
worlds.
if I join those worlds, I feel like I'd be the guy who like just sees everything that happens, and I'm like, "Ah, damn it, like this shit again. Like, I can't just go to work,
Oh yeah,
man. Like,
the
Oh,
memes were like
you're gonna be
somebody
one of
threw
the
your car,
citizens
somebody said,
running
yeah,
like.
it's like it's my sixth car this year. Like, come on, man. Like, give me a freaking break. Like,
But you
Dang.
say that made me think like
you
that
really
means
needed my energy for this? Like, you couldn't
yeah.
handle that crap on your own? Like, I needed to give you some of me so you could take care of this asshole? Like, for real? I
That
don't
made
even
me
see
think
what's
though.
happening.
We would get more money. We would actually get more stimulus checks so we can pay for that new car.
There's
So-
no
You
way. We'd
say
just
that,
be
Nah, bro,
you
your
say
insurance is going up.
those worlds would
but
be
your
completely
premium,
broke all
your
the time.
premium, your hero premium is going up every time that
That's how I
nigga
say.
throws your car.
Every
It's a wrap.
time your car gets flipped, every time your car get one of those and thrown in the air, bro, that's a premium, bro. That that's stimmy
Oh,
car
yeah.
right to the premium.
Yeah, you're right.
Those some dangerous worlds, bro.
And
That's how I said. I'm gonna rock with the space jam when we could be
I
in the
think
crowd
we
like
can
doom doom
say
doom 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 doom. Like I just want like I'm cool with that, bro. Like I'm cool. I'm cool.
okay. No, you're right. Japan probably does better with their sharing their money from the government to the people. America is still probably going to be a little greedy about it.
Facts.
You can book that one.
Okay. So,
Have a little chop. I'm
Jay,
sorry.
you have any more?
Questions or did you want to give one of your worlds, one of your fictional worlds, real
Me?
quick? Yeah. I'm actually
Like what I would?
curious.
Oh,
Yeah,
like the world that I would live in.
yeah.
So I'm kind of torn because there's a part of me I've always like always since I saw it. I really want to be an extra in like a really crappy movie, like any movie.
Okay.
Like what comes to mind is like High School Musical. So I really want to be the kid
That's bad, buddy.
like in the lunchroom when they go into song, and I'm just like, damn it, man! Like I just want to eat today. Like you really got to do this right now. Like I don't give a crap about your
Wow.
personal issues. I'm just here to get through the day. Like I want to write and be in a world of the extra, like the person that has to live in these worlds that do like where crazy shit is happening and like
Yeah, it
they're
sounds
just
like you would
normal.
break
They're
the
just
fourth
trying to live a
wall, though.
life.
You'll be like Jim from The Office. Every time they break out in a dance, you just look at the camera.
Yeah, I would just be
Like,
like, but
every
I
time.
mean, if I had to like live in a world and like be like a part of it,
That's a
it's
pretty
hard
tough
because I would like to be. You know what? Because I think I would choose One Piece. One Piece being as insane as like a Dragon Ball Z type world sometimes, right? But I see myself as someone that would be like I want to join the crew, but like something has to happen to me so I could join the crew, kind of like a Chopper
Yeah,
situation where it's like,
something
nah, I
bad
gotta
has to
stay here,
happen.
and then somebody's like, nah, get the fuck out, and then I end up having to join the crew, and then I have a good time.
Yeah.
So
You
I
need
feel
to
like
have a tragic
that would be my
backstory.
kind of character. Yeah. I feel like that would be my character arc.
Damn,
I would be
bro.
like, oh, I want to join you guys, but I can't. And then somebody be like, nah, man, you gotta go and live your dream. And I would be like, okay. And then I'll be a part of the crew and like
It's like,
doing cool
yeah,
stuff.
I'm gonna be that person that draws a map of the whole world. Like, just it gotta be
Well, I
something
see
random.
myself literally as like Chopper or Usopp from One
So you'd
Piece,
be a doctor.
or like Mineta from My Hero, like just an idiot that has like they're just along for the ride.
You'd be the more human characters in that show, which
Yeah.
would be Usopp and Chopper.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
I fucks with that.
So in Dragon Ball
well,
Z
since we went
terms,
off
you're
for-
Krillin.
Yeah.
So in the
Either
Dragon Ball
Krillin
Z,
or
yeah, you're
my
Yamcha.
favorite
Yamcha.
person that no one ever remembers or cares about is Yamjirobe.
Yep. I had a
Okay.
feeling you were gonna say one
Yeah.
of those
I
characters.
love him
Or
for no reason.
Orin.
He's so dumb.
Yeah,
Mm.
he was dope.
That would be me. Like I would just be
Okay.
there like
You know,
I mean,
like what the hell's happening?
he still was clutch though.
I was gonna say they
He
all
still
had their
came in
moments.
clutch.
no. Dragon Ball made them so like when Yamcha came to the screen in Dragon Ball, you were like, "Yo, he's fire."
Yeah.
Yajirobe, same thing.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball
Yeah.
Z, it's over for them. They're not even
Yeah.
a thought.
Straight Gaga. Straight Gaga.
That's sweet.
Those are good questions, Jay. I like these questions. They're good.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, that was fun.
This is how you know I put in thought in this. No. Wait, who said? Wait, say what again? Oh, I didn't,
Wait, what
my
happened?
bad, I didn't catch it.
No, you good.
Oh no,
Good.
you're good. You're good. You're good.
No, I just didn't catch it, but it's all good. For me, I like Rob, I was torn between the two, but ultimately, I'll tell you what I would choose. Soul Eater. If you ever watched the anime or read the manga,
I've never seen
it's
that
dope.
one.
Oh,
That
definitely
shit
should
sounds
check it out.
kind of scary though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That sounds
No.
like
You're
something
right.
I've heard
You're
it was good.
100% right. So the dope shit is because one of my favorite characters, Black Star, but like you get to be a Meister who can have his best friend be a weapon or someone that you have a good link with. So I always thought that was really cool because I'm like, damn, you go to school just to learn how to fight monsters. That's really dope. And your best friend's with you.
So wait,
Yeah, but what if your best friend feels all the pain? Like, what if you swing him
No,
as a
they don't.
sword?
So they don't feel
And
the
it's
pain.
like, what if I feel? What if like I felt that? Like,
I think it's
that.
too.
I went to school with you just to be your freaking like pencil or some shit.
Oh,
Like,
No, but
to
they
be his
don't
accessory,
feel
right?
anything.
Yeah.
like, what if
No.
I want to do something and you're like, nah, it's time to fight, and then you just turn me into a sword, and it's like, what about me?
Well,
I
it
have
has to
other
be-
stuff
it
to
has
do.
to-
You
there
go
has
out
to be
picking a
thing-
fight, and then you turn around and grab Justin to smack someone else with like, yo, listen, bro, you can't hold me. Hold on,
Like, I didn't want this.
and like hit
That's
him with
when you're
Justin.
gonna
Like
do that
that's
to you.
crazy, bro. Like,
If you ever get the
talk
chance
to
to watch
my
or read
sword that way. Like, nah, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
That'd
check
be
this
mad
out.
fucked up.
'Cause This
Nah,
sounds,
Right?
sounds
That's kind of
interesting.
disrespectful, bro.
But no, but it's like it's a dope concept. If you watch it, like they don't feel pain
Nah, I feel you.
unless there's like you know how like in anime they have these like chi or ryatsu or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like they have to be able to have that ability to like penetrate that. You'll work as a sword and whatever. But I just think it's a cool world. It's one of my top animes.
No,
I
that
would've chose
definitely
One
sounds
Piece.
cool.
Nah,
I
it
would have
does.
chose One Piece, but One Piece is like filled with too many badasses. It's another Dragon Ball. I can't live in that world.
I
I'll
would
get
want
fucked up.
to have a gum fruit like power though.
Like,
Bro,
you
I
have
wouldn't
to,
want to
like,
be just
It's literally like to me like playing a sport with your best friend. You just fighting, like you know what I mean. Like it's just like, yo, bro, listen, we whipped that dude's ass out back there, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like
Exactly. Yo, there's certain scenes that like these guys and so like basically there's three protagonists. Not to get like off topic, but it's three protagonists. They all have their like partner. They're not like best friends, but they have like one of them are like best friends with their weapons. But like on one weapon decided to be like, nah, I don't want to be with you anymore. I'm gonna go with the other one, which is the comedic relief dude, Black Star. He's like, yo, we ready to like fuck shit up? And he can't pick up. It's like Mjolnir. He couldn't pick him up. He was like, yo, we don't fight. So he was because their wavelength wasn't in sync. So they're just like,
oh, that's tough.
And then he turned into like one of the characters turned into a scythe, and he tried to catch him, but he cut like the top of his head. It was mad funny. Like I butchered the whole thing.
Okay. I see it.
Mad funny.
No, I get it, bro. You painting the picture right. Yeah.
But that is where I would like to. That's the fictional where I would like to be in. But what I was torn with was Pokemon, because you don't go to school after you're 10.
You know what's crazy?
I never even thought of that.
My third choice.
Say that again, Rob.
That would have been my third choice. And
when I was a kid, for
playing
sure, that was what
like
I wanted.
Anybody could be Ash Ketchum. Anybody could be, the top. Like, you just, it's just the hustle.
The only thing I worried about,
he just recently beat like the Pokemon League, like a couple years
ago. It took him like 20 years or something like that.
Yeah, we are.
But the only thing I worry about with Pokemon is like, now that, as we've gone on, we see that the world is like way more lived in, right? Like with the games, with Detective Pikachu, like Pokemon are really out there like regular animals. Imagine you walked outside and there's a fucking dragon at your door burning it down.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere until you fight it, and then you can start.
Yeah, like it's like I have to start my day like this.
Bro, you running late. You running late with your book bag. All right, bro.
And then on top of that, if your best friend, if your little rat animal thing isn't good enough, now you got to take care of that. Now you have to go to the freaking Poke Hospital, figure that out. It's socialism, so it's free healthcare.
Yeah, the whole family has Pokemon though, so it's like you could like recruit.
Yeah, but some of them are just for like
mom, go get the Charizard.
Yeah, like I guess, but then like Ash, right? He was 10 years old, and his mom was like, "Hey, go ahead, go figure it out. I'll stay here with Mr. Mime as he's like my maid, and then you figure it out." If I have a Pidgey and I walk outside and there's a big no, but if there's like a big dragon, like, and I gotta figure that out.
Well,
grab you about his shoulder
to learn how to fly. If he can't fly,
you know how much money I'm gonna owe other trainers? Like, damn. Imagine you have like one bad day, right? You're going down the route 20, whatever, and you're fighting back to back like people, right? If you lose, you have to pay them. Yes, I'm losing. But, like, if you have one off day, bro, you're broke.
Yeah.
I'll be a homeless Pokemon trainer.
I mean, that's the thing. Like in the act, I guess if we were actually in that world, it'd take us a lot longer to progress through the map than what we actually do. I
guess, yeah.
So,
hey,
true.
Unless you just you happen to be in like the hood version of
and imagine what Poke Hoods.
That's gonna take even longer.
Got the Squirtle gang.
You ain't gonna only be battling Charizard. You got to battle the whole hood, bro, just to get like down the block. Like you
battling mad Machops with gold chains and
yeah.
They
you know what? At that point,
Pokemon are gonna have guns and shit. Like
Pokemon's are gonna have guns. They're gonna be walking around with Uzis in the streets.
Yo, facts.
They're not even gonna fight you. They're just gonna pull it out.
Right?
So, and then every time a Pokemon spoke, you saw like their subtitle. Like, yo, you don't want that smoke. They'll be like, Squirtle. I'd laugh. I wouldn't even take it seriously.
Hand gestures and shit.
Right? Throwing a mad hand sign, bro.
Like
smoking hookah. And you see like
smoking hookah.
Smoke inside.
This question went way off the rails. I feel like
yes, let's rein it back in.
We'll rein it back in. We went this way.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a J&J podcast without going off the rails just a little bit. But to bring it back in, we are actually talking about NFTs in this episode.
Yes.
So before we get into the conversations, let's hear from you guys a little bit. Rob and Ernest, if you want to just give us a little bit of background about who you guys are, and then we'll get into some NFT topics.
Cool.
So, Rob, if you want to
Yeah.
go first.
Yeah, sure. So I I guess when it comes to in relation to NFTs, um, I've spent a lot of time in my life. When I was in high school, I was collecting a lot of figures.
Mhm.
Going to Toys R Us, going to KB, doing comic book shops, and just understanding, teaching myself value, understanding, how to build a collection. Um, so that's kind of where I have my base. Like I'm a collector at heart, but if you want to be able to get the really high dollar collectibles, you have to be some sort of a flipper in the sense too. So you have to know when to buy, when to sell, and I really spent a lot of time throughout my years. I mean, I still do it now, even though I'm older, but that really taught me a lot. And I was self-taught, you know what I mean, and
Mhm.
that's a great thing about the time that we're in and the tools that we've had in the past that we kind of grew up on to where we're at now. So I think it's really important to have that opportunity to teach yourself those things outside of just a trade or 9 to 5. Like you know I didn't go to business school or anything like that, but with the combination of me and Ernest, like we're able to predict certain things. We can, we bounce ideas off of each other. And yeah, I mean, currently I work for Postworks New York, which is a finishing house for film and TV. So, I get to see projects with Netflix and HBO finish their projects, before they hit the big screen. So that's my occupation. But
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead,
That's
E.
dope.
Go ahead, Ernest.
All right. Well, Ernest, E Boogie, Twitter, all that stuff. That's just the name. Yeah, me. I'm pretty much the same. Grew up with Rob. That's like my brother, for real. So he knows the story. But me, I've always been. How can I say? I grew up with my father, who taught me like a lot of like things about business and construction. So that was my
Mhm.
background, more of a financial and like planning and keeping books and things of that nature. So when I'm thinking, it's kind of more analytical of a lot of things. So like Rob mentioned a little bit earlier, how we mesh ideas. So me, I've never been much of a big collector as far as items, as far as like I would say
Mhm.
like toys and things of that nature. Now I've had them. We're all guys here. We've all had toys and all that stuff. But even as grown men, we've had different type of toys. So I've dabbled in it, but I've never called myself a collector. So I've collected sneakers to a
I'm gonna
point.
stop you.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
I was gonna say you
Yeah.
better mention the sneakers because
Yeah,
that's
but
huge.
but that's an idea that came from Rob. So when I thought about it, I don't think of myself as a sneaker collector because I don't go after every sneaker, But I have a collection. So when I took it up like in my psyche that way, I was like, okay, so I get it. I am a collector. I have collected things. As far as now, I'm even more of a bigger collector because I'm surrounded by sports cards. That's my thing. So right now,
Mhm.
I have my job 100% is my own business that I've created a few years ago, and it's just strictly sports cards and collectibles like that. Just getting them graded. I can understand the value. I can, like we say, in analytical. I can say this is relatively what it is priced at, where it should be, and where it's going, and that's how I make my money, and that's how I make a living. And I've been doing that solid now for 2 to 3 years, like on my own, just working it that way. So man, I've had some success that way, but and then that's led us to NFTs. So everything is cyclical, and now we're back at this point. So yeah.
Mhm. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess I never really thought about the dynamic. So, Ernest, would you be a little more analytical and kind of looking at it from a financial standpoint, and your background being like bookkeeping and business, and then where Rob is more self-taught and more in the field and keeping up to date, like within his own collector mindset because he is a collector, right?
Hmm.
So Ernest, you're a collector in your own right, with sneakers, and listen, every collector can't be a completionist, right? You can't get
Mm-hmm.
everything you ever out there because you can't.
You
It's just
become, yeah,
impossible.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But you collect the things that you like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of cool seeing how you guys would like play off of each other. Obviously, that's a good dynamic to have common interest, but at the same time being able to attack it from two different points. So
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Ernest is very humble about it. But at one point, you know, when sneakers were like at its peak, he was getting the best sneakers out. Like he's not gonna say it, I'll say it for him. He was getting the cream of the crop, and and he transitioned into, you know, the sports cards. And you know, me and him, we teamed up. The first thing we ever teamed up together was we purchased a Funko Pop from the Funko shop. It was from Coming to America. Randy Watson
Yeah.
was the one that we
Yeah.
purchased. We went on it together. We were like, yo, we both love this movie. We never thought that they would even make any type of action figure character. You know, such a random
Yeah.
character for that
Yep.
movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that that was it. Right when we bought that one, it was like that. You know, we were sold.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we worked together on so many different events, just helping each other make money, bouncing ideas off each other. And um, when it comes to NFTs, Ernest is going to be able to explain more of the technical side, like he has said, and I'm going to explain more of the lifestyle aspect of it and why
Mhm.
it's going to be important for us. And you know, what people aren't really able to see right now, you know, on the outer whatever. And you know, it's a shame, but at the same time, um, it's an opportunity because, you know, right now NFTs have a stigma, right? They have a stigma because people are seeing high returns, and they're questioning just that. They're
Yeah.
only questioning the dollar amount, and they're not questioning what it actually is. And you know, it's disappointing when you want to, you know, bring in family or friends and you want to try to tell them about it, and they kind of like look at you like you're crazy, or they laugh, or they, you
Yeah.
know, it is frustrating. We've gone through it so many times, and that's why we chose this way to kind of bring, you know, we don't talk about this on social media. I don't post any of the NFTs I have
Mhm.
because, you know, I don't I have a lot of faith in what I'm doing, but I don't want to put it out there and you know, just show it off because I'm not at that point yet. You know what I mean? And
Well, it harkens back to like the most famous quote, "Real G's move in silence like lasagna."
oh yeah,
So
100%,
you know, you
hundred
just
percent.
you do your own thing till
Ah,
you
Yeah,
can
but the
till it
thing
shows
is,
off for you. You know.
you know, sometimes I want to be able to show them off because I should be able to. But you know, you know, me and Ernest, we try to be humble. We try to really, you know, understand the full picture of what we're doing before, you know, and that goes for anything that we do.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Jay. I
That's
think
dope.
if you have any questions, just you
No,
know,
I was just gonna say,
shoot them
like,
off.
I think one of the words you probably were looking for is like, yeah, definitely you move in silence, but I think what I get a sense from you guys is trying to educate too, because like it
Oh,
makes me think of
100%.
like back in the day when the internet was popping, people were like, yo, internet's not gonna last. That's lasting.
Yeah.
Yo, we are in the
And
same exact point. This is
exactly.
we are in the same point we were in when the
Mhm.
internet took off.
Well, I mean, you're thinking about it, right? I think a really good example of this exact thing, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, even though it is a cryptocurrency, it is in essence a type of NFT, right? You can't touch a Bitcoin. So, you know, people didn't bother with it when it first came out. They were, you know, you bought 100 for a penny and then, you know, it died down and then overnight it exploded again. And it kind of
And that
started the
person has
race
money.
to,
Right.
yeah,
So
it
so
started this race.
that
But
but that's
before
another
we
thing.
dive further into like NFTs and stuff, let's start at the top level, right? What is an NFT? Define an actual NFT, either
So
one of you.
Ernest, you could take that. You could define it.
all right. So we're gonna start from the top. Like Justin said. So an NFT by definition is a non-fungible token. That's the what the acronym means. So basically what that means is And what I do is I draw a lot of, so bear with me, I draw a lot of like real life comparisons when I speak. I'm long winded, so
Mhm.
I like to just use
No, that's good
examples
because
that
that'll help
everyone
people
can
relate to it.
visualize.
So,
Exactly. So
yep.
if you want to look at NFT is basically like anything in your life that you bought. So that mug that both of you guys are drinking from, right?
Mhm.
The company that made it, they probably said, "Hey, we're gonna make 1,000 of these mugs." So you have one of 1,000. It's limited.
Mhm.
It has a quantity. So basically, when you say NFT, you're saying an item that is literally has a limit to it. So and these things are put on what is called a blockchain. So a blockchain is going to be a public ledger where everyone can see where these things have gone, how much they've traded for. So there's no private knowledge. And I don't know if you guys have questions back there that are going to lead more like into how this is going to change within society. So I don't want to go too deep and trump your questions, but
I could
I'm
cover
gonna
that. I could cover
I'm
that.
okay. So basically the things that you're looking at is you're looking at items that are basically limited. What do we know about collecting is that when an item's limited, it kind of has more value because of scarcity, right? You know how
Yeah, of course.
you know
Supply
how
and
many's out
demand.
exactly. So that scarcity is going to create a demand. It's going to have a price associated to that demand. So now, depending on what the item is, it's going to say whether it's expensive or not. So you see something like a Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? These are the pictures you see of the apes that are going for. Steph Curry bought
Yeah,
one from the Golden State
Yeah.
Warriors.
yeah.
You
Bored
see
apes. Yep.
Kylie Jenner tried to get one and was denied, a pink one. That same ape that she was denied on is probably going to now go for double the price just because Kylie Jenner wanted it and she couldn't have it. So now you look into
Mm-hmm.
all of these things now where people are adding a almost not a real it's real because this money is really being transacted, but it's almost it
Yes.
feels fictitious because it's like who's paying this for a JPEG picture, right? Who's paying this for a picture
Mm-hmm.
of just the ape or it's just a picture, right? Is what the public consensus is. But when you dive deeper into it, there's a token, a non-fungible token that is powering that front end picture you're seeing. So that poster Rob has there, that's just the front end of what you see. Behind that poster is now a token that is similar to like having a stock associated to it. So all of these
Yep.
items are now in right its own stock. So now all these items that are going to be put on a public ledger now have value, can be tracked instantly, can be it it's all known. There's no faking anything. There's no going to a concert and if they put out tickets in an NFT form, they're all tied back to what is called this blockchain and they all can be it's all
Mm-hmm.
encrypted,
Yeah.
very hard to break, very hard to go into and create replicas of. So now there will be no more
Mhm.
people selling fake tickets. So you can see where it's eliminating things and also streamlining things right to
Mm-hmm.
a P2P, a peer-to-peer type of transaction.
Yes.
I'm
So
gonna pick it up from here. I'm gonna pick it up from here. E. So that was an excellent description. Also, for Ernest, another thing too, to understand NFTs, you do have to have some sense of crypto, and Ernest is better at explaining that as well. But I want to just I want to simplify it even more. And when I think of NFTs, I think of we're in the age of the internet right now, where the internet is the wild wild west.
Yeah.
Like there's no and they try to police it. They've tried to do different things, and there's just no way that you could really police the internet,
Yep.
right? So when you think of NFTs, you have to think of marketing, you have to think of authenticity, you think of community, and you also, it's technology, right? So we'll hit on those four topics. So marketing, right? When you market with an NFT, you have something tangible to go with whatever the push that you have. So it's like he said with a concert, it's like now you can your concert ticket will be of value for for the rest of your life because it might have something tied to it. You were one of these people that experienced this, so they could say at any time you can use the code on your ticket. You could use your serial number to watch the concert again. You know, um,
And that's what we call utility. So
right.
NFTs are now this is what we're seeing now. In the early stages of NFTs, people were offering just the picture, just the
Yeah.
token. Now everyone's saying, what more can you offer? So these same companies that were giving you pictures or whatever, they now have to be creative and actually keep giving to the customer. What
Yeah.
else is there more? I just don't want to pay $100,000 for a picture. What
Right.
utilities come with it? You
And
know what I
it's
mean?
and it's in their best interest to do that because another part of NFTs is smart contracts. Smart contracts is probably one of the greatest things that will ever happen to us in society
So
because
what's a smart contract? Like
a
what is that?
smart contract is basically a contract that you as the owner. So if you, the best way to complete this example is either of you are artists, right? Let's say you create a picture, and you say I only want 50 of these pictures to be circulated around the world.
Yeah.
Your
Okay.
smart contract is going to determine how much money you're going to make every time that picture is sold. So
So
Okay, so like a royalty.
exactly,
yes.
it is exactly a royalty. That's
Hmm.
exactly
Mhm.
what it is. So now you're saying if I sold all 50 of my photos for $1, and then now you distribute them. If someone sells it for $10, you're gonna get a piece of that. So
Hmm.
your smart contract could also have stipulations. I don't want my photo to be featured on X, Y, and Z. I only want this to be blah blah blah. So it's literally a contract that's tied to a digital asset. That's and it can be however you know you want it to be. So you set the stipulations for it. And for artists, that's another thing, another part of NFTs. That's why it's so prevalent now because again, it's said the wild wild west is the internet. Anybody could steal your photo and do whatever they want with it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now you're going to have proof that says no, this is my picture. I have number 587 out of 1,000 on the blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain. You can see it here, and it's there. It's a public ledger. um
Yeah, this kind of reminds me this I guess in like a non-crypto, non-NFT world, when you think about like a work of art, you guys keep going back to like JPEGs, pictures,
Yeah.
mhm,
artistry. So that's what it kind of sounds like also just for, listeners out there that need some sort of like tie back. So when you
Now
buy
look.
a piece of art
Now look.
that's like, valued extremely high, like
mhm,
you're buying it for the clout technically, and then it doesn't depreciate after you buy it because it's typically a one of one or one of 10, one of X series. Once you buy it and you hold on to it, it only goes upwards in value. You have a certificate of authenticity, right? But that artist, in contrast to an NFT, that artist, and to not an NFT, but in contrast to a smart contract, that artist doesn't get a piece of the pie after he gets it sold, right? So that
Exactly.
next person that sells it for double what they paid for,
mhm.
that original artist is just stuck with whatever he got the first time
Initially,
around.
yes.
So
Exactly.
it's like,
The Mona
yeah.
Lisa. The Mona Lisa is the
Yes, I
best
wanted to.
example I can
Jay,
give
what
you,
were you
right?
gonna say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go
I
ahead,
was
Jay.
gonna say, like, it kind of reminds me. I've read online somewhere, like, exactly what you were saying, Justin. But one of the things, because one of my questions to you guys was, is it just simply to make money? Because what if the artist just wants the clout? And because if he sells
I'll,
it and he doesn't make money,
I mean,
he's
because you
still
can't
getting
make clout.
recognized.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
You
I'll take
Say that
it.
can't.
again.
I'll
Yeah,
take it,
yeah.
Rob.
I just
Go
want to
ahead.
know
You.
the answer.
So my thing is, you're always gonna have people that act nefariously in anything. So there are people that are making projects that are projects. There's about, like, let's just be
It's
modest. There's about a
disgusting. There's a
hundred
lot.
projects that pop up a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they all great? No. Kids are
Hmm.
making projects. Some kids are
No.
becoming,
No.
now. Not to say these kids aren't good artists, But there's a kid that literally draws a squiggly line and it sells for like really good money. But my thing is,
Okay.
that's not on the artist to me. That's on the
Mhm.
individuals who's buying it. Because what
Yes.
happens
Yeah.
is whenever there's a gold rush, people will look. When people were mining for gold, some people picked up and left where they were just to go mine. Everyone's doing it. This is where the gold rush is. I need to be there. So this is
Yeah.
This is the modern day gold rush, and everyone's either creating and everyone's spending. So right
Mhm.
now, what happens is, I'll be honest with you, a lot of those projects will fall through. But
Yeah.
A lot.
what you just have to look at it from a standpoint of, okay, you're gonna, like anything you're gonna put your money into, you have to do your homework. And it sounds easy.
Mhm.
It sounds like the first thing anyone should do. But
Yeah.
trust me, when you're looking at money being transacted the way it is, and it feels like you can't miss, like Justin said something, that it feels like everything goes up. It
Hmm.
feels that way, but that's not the case. Trust me,
Mhm.
people are losing every day. There are
Mhm.
projects that are being made, and people start the project up, promise you things, and then disappear the next day. In the middle
Yeah,
of the
a lot
night,
of people getting
you
scammed.
will, yeah, you will spend thousands of dollars, and the coin will drop overnight. So my thing is, I'm not
Mhm.
saying that these are easy easy waters to navigate by any stretch of imagination. That's not what we're saying here. What we're saying is, if you're gonna stick by, now we have a project we can set. We'll say, and we'll talk about whatever briefly or in depth if you like. But my thing is, like, you have to. There's signals. There's things that you need to be looking for, but at the same time, the NFT, like just to touch back on the artistry part of it, the artistry part is just the first part that is being introduced, right? So
Yes.
Mhm.
to me, you
Yeah.
have to start
Mhm.
people off with something, right? You have to get, and it's easy to do
Yeah. Yeah.
collections, things that we love. So if you look at what the world is offering us now, everyone is offering you something digital now, trying to get you into this digital world, this digital way of being, right?
Mhm.
So to me,
Mhm.
when I dial that back, I'm saying, okay, this is the direction we're going, whether you like it or not, right? So
Mhm.
are you going to educate yourself and get ahead of the curve, or are you going to sit back, wait until it's pressed upon you to then educate yourself? And then when you even do that, guess what? The opportunity to make money will actually be almost gone or very damn hard to spot because you haven't
Mhm.
been on it learning the trends or whatnot before the
Mhm.
masses come. Because guess every wave of new people, every lot of new people will present a whole new different way of acting in that market.
Yep.
So now you haven't even been around from the beginning to spot trends, to understand trends, to everything. So for the layman person, when this is like, you're literally going to be needing to switch your money from this coin to this coin. Miami has a Miami coin.
Mm.
Florida, Miami, like a Miami
Yeah.
coin. When you go there, and they may be offering, I haven't looked into what the perks are, if they said anything like that, but the utility of that would probably be, hey, you have Miami coin. It's like going to Guatemala. When you go there, you have to get that exchange. So now you go to Miami, you can say, you know what, you can spend regular fiat, but yo, Miami coins offering 20% off of everything for the weekend. Why don't we just buy a couple of those coins and do that? That's how they rope you in. These are
Mhm.
adoption periods. They're adopting
Yeah.
people to what's going on.
Mhm.
It's
It's
inevitable.
almost like a loyalty program or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
That's
Like,
what it sounds like. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
almost
and that's another
inevitable.
thing. That's one aspect.
Yeah.
Another
That's
just
another
one
aspect.
part of it.
But
There's
look,
Because
so
I.
many different aspects.
realty. Think about it when you have we all have
Mhm.
vehicles, I'm pretty sure, drove in a car, whatever. Um, if I want to do a transaction with Rob and I want his car, there's a lot of other steps we have to do, right? Like we take title, sign it, make sure someone else
yeah.
signs off on it. Through NFTs, Rob is given a token at the dealership that says this car is his. When it leaves his
Mhm.
possession, is given to me. Now that car is mine. Look how simple that is. Yo, pay me for the
Yeah.
car. It's yours.
Yeah.
Yo, you sent me the money. I'll transfer you the token. Bomb. Come get your car. No middleman. No what's name. This is P2P. This is real life interactions happening now. This is no,
Yeah.
Mhm.
oh, I got this. Now I have
Mhm.
to go get it checked by someone else. Oh, they weren't open today. Oh, no, this is bing, bing, bong.
Mhm.
You got yours. I got mine.
Yeah.
I'm good. We walk away.
The
That's
digital
it.
world
So
doesn't falter to the days. Like it's not the
Right.
weekend.
Yeah,
It
so
just it
I was
keeps
Yep.
just gonna
going.
say, yeah. So now in this increase, like you bring up a really good point, like with it going digital, and Jay, like you're saying, like it doesn't, the digital world is ever expanding and ever growing and all that. It doesn't tie itself to our regular rules. Right now, do you think at some point, like, we're gonna see like government regulation on this? Because, like you said, right now, like, in the example you gave, exchange car for money, done, it's over. But government, especially with America, they want a piece of everything. So do you think at some point they're going to be like, all right, that's it with this. Now for every transaction, there'll be a sales tax, right? Just like we do when we go to the
They
grocery
gotta
store or
make
something.
money.
There'll be a
Mhm.
yeah, there'll be a sales tax on it. Do you think this Wild West mentality will last a certain amount of time, or
I
like,
think
what are
I
your
think
thoughts on that?
they are already doing it,
Okay.
and they're not only already doing it, but they have joined. So the government has NFTs.
Hmm.
Just people don't know. It's not public knowledge yet.
The
But they
Okay.
banks
have
buy
NFTs.
the banks buy Bitcoin. They were spreading fear that, oh, this isn't. Did anyone tell you this was legal? The word selection, right? Did anyone tell you
Mhm.
Yeah.
this was legal? But you didn't say it was illegal. You didn't say it was legal or illegal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they say that to someone who has limited funds. My funds are limited by how much I can produce. I'm only one man, right? So
Yeah.
they know my funds are limited to a degree. They can print paper
Hmm.
as much as they like, right? I don't have the same,
Yeah.
leverage. So if they
Ability.
just get
Yeah.
me to stop a few days of what I'm doing, or they get me to stop a week here, or they get me to stop in totality, then
Mhm.
I'm knocked out of the game. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that all it takes is the government to say, listen, did we say it was legal? For you to be like, oh, okay, I'm not
Mhm.
going to put my money there because I only have X amount to start with. So now I'm not going to gamble with
Yep.
something
Yeah.
that
Because
may be a for sure
yeah.
loss if
There
the
there
government
is
hasn't
there
even
is
made
a
their
lot
mind up.
of yeah, there is a lot of fear tactics at play, and what I with the whole thing with the government, like, I don't want to get too much into it because I
Mhm.
don't know enough about it, but I from what I have seen and what I cuz I think about that all the time too.
Hmm.
And the funny thing about it is I think they're scrambling in a way, but
Okay.
the whole thing, like I heard about it, and then I really heard about it today because someone asked me. They were like, you're gonna automatically get audited now if you have uh,
Mm.
a deposit of $600 or more, and that's
Mm-hmm.
from peer
Mhm.
to peer transactions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's almost like if they try too hard to push us into staying away from crypto, we're gonna need crypto even more
Wait, put it like this, bro.
because
Put it like this. Hold on. I have a really crazy, real quick thing. Just to tell you
go for it.
how weird the scenarios are in the wordplay and how it's being played on you. But look, Cash App, right? The government said Cash App, those things where we do P2P for free. When Rob sends Justin money, Justin sends Rob money, instant.
Mhm.
What are you only paying a cash out fee? $1, $2 here or there? You're not worried about, oh, I have
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
pay $30 to send this to Rob. No. They want a piece of that. So they said, you know what? We need to step in on the behalf of the people because people
Mm.
are being scammed. Look, we all use Cash App. How often have you been scammed on Cash App? How often
Mhm.
has there been things wrong when you go to the bank to try to get your money? There's a lot of people that, oh, yep, you have a limit today. Bro, I just put in that money. How are you not going to let me take that money out? So there's
Mhm.
a lot of
Yeah.
things at play where it's like, okay, whoa, we need to protect the people from themselves because they can be getting scammed. But on the reverse end, when you look at they want the taxation of that P2P, that peer to peer. But the
Mhm.
Yeah.
most OG peer to peer there ever was cash to cash, cash for services. You can't track that. If you cut my grass, I
Yeah.
say here's $100. Where's the taxation of that? See, they only want it done
Yeah.
if
Mhm.
it's done on their level. That don't cross this threshold. So the most OG P2P is cash. They didn't eliminate that. They can't track that. They don't want. They're cool with that because you're using fiat. As soon as you create something of your own and a system of your own that may one up theirs, what they're going to do is they're going to undermine it, try to find a way to control it. And this is, like Rob alluded to, this is what's happening now. Crypto, trust and believe, these are assets. These are assets. These NFTs are assets. So you're going to be able to fractionalize it. If my asset's going for $1 million, I can break it off in a million different pieces, and everyone can pay $1 a piece a month, or whatever the case may be. $1 a piece to own a fraction of it. So this is
you're
what
talking
happens.
about like how a stock gets broken down, like a public offering or whatever. If you buy X amount of shares of corporation A,
but when does it get? It gets
you
there when
split your company into a million pieces.
It gets there when it balloons to a certain level, though. At the beginning, that thing may have only cost you, like you said, a penny, $1, and then when it expands to an uncontrollable amount that one person doesn't want to pay the full amount on, then you can fractionalize it. But it's happened through everything. It's happened through sports cards most recently. When sports cards seen a boom over the last year, big institutions, which are banks, came in and they scooped up all the Michael Jordan top rarities, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, all of those people that we all know, scooped them all up, and they reissued them fractionalized. These people that all get into the fractions of the card, they will never see that card. They're just hoping the price goes up, and then they set the overall umbrella company will then sell it off and say, "Hey, listen, you've made X amount of dollars on this share, but you've never seen that card. You're invested into the fractions of that card." So it's just crazy how it's all good. It's not good unless it's underneath the rules and regulations of themselves. So, but meanwhile, it's just the information is being misconstrued, so you can't really capitalize in your fullest ability, in your full ability. So it's just a lot of games.
So I just want to touch on one more thing, and then we can jump into VeVe, so we have a decent amount of time to talk about that. You guys mentioned clout, with and that's another thing about NFTs that I feel like is associated with it, and to me, if you're like if you're a person that's pretty aware and can see, like, you're not going to look at these things for clout, because when they created the Bored Ape Yacht Club, it wasn't for clout. It was just a project. It was something that they started. And like Ernest said, if there's nothing else out there, and people want to get in on something, that was the option. It was CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club. So now they're, the reason why they have clout is because it's a community. That's another aspect of these NFTs, because what me and Ernest learned over the course of 2020 and in 2019 was we were using Discord to give all our information. We pay a service to be in a Discord, and it's just, hey, you want to make money, you want to do, buy certain things. They have different categories that you can pay attention to, and you find your lane and you attack it. So now with, public knowledge is gone. There is no such thing as public knowledge anymore. It used to be, you found it, you got your job, you did everything for your family or whatever the case was, and that was it. It was very simplified. Now it's not as simple. So if you want to get those tips and you want those life hacks, you got to join a community. And
like you guys were saying, it's like you got to do your homework. Like, it's not something where you could pick up a newspaper and read about it and then move on from that. It's really like you have to be examining different outlets. You have to
by the time you go ahead and you read that newspaper, the move that they spoke about in that newspaper, it's not a move anymore. Now you're just joining a crowd, and you're gonna lose on that investment.
And it's funny because we talk about this even now. YouTube is a really good source of information, but now YouTube is too old. So if that's your source of information, you're behind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is where we're going. This is why these things are
so think about this. It's crazy because when our parents were growing up, if they wanted information, they bought into programs. Like, has anybody heard their parents like there's a dude, Tony Robbins. Tony, I forgot. I forgot his last name, but
I think
there's
no,
many
it's
great.
Tony Robbins.
It's Tony
Okay,
Robbins.
yeah, okay. I just haven't listened to him speak in a while, so I didn't know if I was like. But yeah, like there's a bunch of guys that are very great motivational speakers, a bunch of people like that, but they have programs. I don't even think those are. So now what I'm noticing is people offer content for free to pull you in, right? And then they keep giving you more free content. So that's the difference. Like before, you paid for content up front, then you got the aha moment, and then you tried to execute. Now you're getting the free information. The free information is roping you in, but the way that people are getting paid is on advertisements and those things, and so like that. So they don't really.
Now there's
Then they'll create the
better way to share.
So now they'll create the Patreons. Now I can give on and feel like, yo, I'm giving this dude, instead of buying your book and then being done. No, it kind of feels like information that keeps on giving. So I'll piecemeal you $5, $10, $20, but it keeps him having subscribers for a lengthy amount of time. So he's making money over a amount of time that's, and he's compounding followers. He's going to make a really good amount of money by charging $5, $10 a head. So that's cool. But it's just the understanding that if you're not on live chats or actively getting into it. So right now, like, and Rob is a better, and this is why I'm more caught up in thinking about numbers and stuff. And Rob, he can reel it in and say, listen, we should be on Twitter right now. So he took it from Discord and gave me the bug on Twitter. So now we're both addicted to now just being 24/7 in chats, talking about real-time information. When something happens in that moment, we can check a market.
Free. That's free information that you're getting from the public, from the masses.
And this is what NFTs
Twitter
are doing.
King.
NFTs are like the community, bro. I'll say it again. I've never been a part of anything, bro. Bro, I go and I do random I'm giving away NFTs. I've given away probably over $300 worth of comic books. And we'll talk about the platform shortly. But we'll let you guys, guide it and tell us where we're going with it. But yeah, I've given away $300 just because I'm like, yo, you guys are guys are giving away game for free. This is something I would have to pay for. So now I feel inclined to give it back and give you something for free. It's because I'm like, yo, this is.
But and the thing is, like, we bought into it though. We didn't buy into. We bought into the community by buying into these NFTs, and that's what came with it. And like, you can't ask for anything better. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're talking about a sense of community, like, any type of fan club or any type of
but
like YouTubers or something like that. It's you want to give back because you've been receiving this knowledge.
It's
in
almost,
your case.
but it's not like a sense of, when Ernest is saying he's giving back, it's just it's like you can't go wrong with how you encourage. It's gonna come back to you in some way.
Well, it's an encouragement. The way I think about it, right, is like I have a couple YouTubers that I follow, right, and they have Twitch streams, right. When you go on their Twitch streams, you see 50 different people giving out 10 subscriptions to random people, right, and it's because I like this thing so much. I pay $10 and I get all this stuff, and now it's kind of like I want to encourage the growth. So what do? You make it a little easy for the guy next to you who might not have that type of money, might not have that type of access. Hey, I'm going to give you a taste of this so you can see that this is worth it. And once you see the value in that, it's kind of like, it's like paying for someone's drive-through, right? The guy behind you. It's like, you had a good day, you want to spread the wealth. So you know what? I'm going to pick up your coffee. And then the next guy's like, you know what? I'm going to pick up that guy's coffee. It's spreading the wealth in a way of like, yeah, sure, it might come back to you, but I think your overall thing is like, let's grow this so that it's better for everyone.
No,
you guys were.
I can't even add nothing to that, bro. You hit that right on the head.
That was great.
It's a really not even a thought of when I'm gonna get mine. It's more so of the fact that you feel so good in just the being involved, that and you see everyone giving away, then you're like, yo, I'm a giveaway, yo. Like, this is just, if everyone's doing this, like, this is what's normal around these parks, and that's it's like, yo, I'm for this. Like, and you hear all the time I do the giveaways, and it feels even better, bro, when you hear, yo, thank you, you made my whole day. You made my whole day, bro. I'm hitting dudes up saying, yo, thank you so much. Like, it just, bro, I've never been here. I've never been in anything. I'm a part of sneaker culture where people will rip your head off for the shoelaces that come in the box, bro.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
being a part of something where someone doesn't want to step on your toes, knowing that we all can win, it is enough winning for everybody. Like,
Mhm.
and people
Yeah.
really understand that they're like, your next guy is not your competition, really. Like, me and Rob, we
Yeah.
push each other to make more, to do more, within that within that community. So it's more like, bro, you guys will have to be a part of it to really get the feel of how everyone's moving. But you guys get the
Yeah.
you get it. But yeah, you guys
So
take it away.
just to close it, a little bit more context of Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks, why those sell for so much is because with those type of NFTs, you're inducted into like it now it's become more of a high rollers club where you can, have access to whatever properties that they own.
Mhm.
It's almost like a fraternity kind of thing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So those that's kind of why those are selling for more, and each project that you can come across, that you will come across, is going to have, like we said, we spoke about some type of utility, and it can come in any different ways or forms. But if anybody ever says to you, yo, you should check out this project, this NFT, always hit them with the utility question. If they can answer the utility question, then that's 50% of the interest. Now you peak,
Mhm.
you had my attention.
Yeah.
Okay, now you got my attention. But in order to pique your interest, you have, there's other factors, that are really go into it. Like someone the other day asked me about um apes in space, and
Okay.
it's an NFT that Takeoff from Migos started.
Mhm.
I remember that.
And it's like, to me, I saw it, before he brought it up to me, but it was like, yo, there's so many red flags with that. Like, what, like, really, like, if there's something already called Board 8 Yacht Club, and that's the cream of the crop, and it's selling for crazy amounts of money, like, why would anybody want apes in space? Like, the two, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
clearly,
well, I mean, it sounds like a knockoff, right? Like
yeah,
they saw that the ape thing worked, so they
there's
were like,
so,
"Oh, let me put it in a whole different
dude,
packaging. Same thing, but it looks a little different."
there are
People
so
will go to
many
that thinking
ape
it's
NFTs.
related to the
It's
other thing.
ridiculous. It is
So it makes me
ridiculous.
think. You said something, Justin, knockoff, because I heard or read that I think it was Nike, when you buy a pair of sneakers, that they want to attach NFT to it to verify the sneaker,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which I think
Mhm.
is a cool idea. Because then, let's say
100%.
someone tries to sell a Nike
Yeah, it cuts
whatever,
the
that's like, yo, where's my
yeah.
NFT? This is not real. Now it has no
Exactly.
value, especially if you're
Yep.
holding it.
Yep.
Like
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yep.
crazy to me. Like it's like
Right. And that's the
that's where we're
thing.
headed.
That's why they're so important. They're going to be so important because authenticity is one of the main issues we have with the internet.
Yep.
Yeah.
eBay, it doesn't matter where you go, you always, you have to go off a trust system, and now it's like it's going to give you that extra layer of, protection. Like, hey, this person has it because they bought it from this person for this amount
Mhm.
at this time, so
Mm,
on and so forth. So
yeah.
Yeah.
so yeah, man, with NFTs, like, if the best advice I can give to you guys, to anybody that's listening, is just put in a couple minutes to read, to watch, to learn, to listen. Don't write it off, and don't think that you know what it is, or don't think that someone else that's telling you what it is what it is. Get your
Exactly.
Yeah.
own definition of it, because there's going to be something for everybody in this space eventually. And if you're smart, you'll start finding your niche now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
And then
Yeah.
with that,
No,
and
we
I
that's a
can,
don't
great way to
you
that's a
know,
great way to round that out.
and I'll let you
So
guys
before we get into
go. Yeah,
the
yeah.
next
No,
oh,
you
okay.
go, because
So before we
yeah,
get into the
okay,
next
yeah.
topic,
Yeah.
the fun part of recording
oh
live,
man, I
right?
can't wait
So
for to talk about this shit. I'm too
before we
excited.
before we get into the next topic, which is going to be the I guess the premier platform that you guys are going to be talking
The
about. I think
goat
this is the one.
of
This is the one that's
NFTs.
this is the one that's kind of like has the broadest appeal, definitely, right? We're going to be talking about VeVe.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, right? So let's just kind of wrap up everything that we just talked about, and I'm going to do it at a high level. Let me know if I'm wrong. So basically, NFTs we're talking about could be, we'll get into it a little bit further, right? Because we're talking about comic books and figures being NFTs, but they're technically 3D models of it. But an NFT is a non-fungible token, so it's something that exists in the digital space and not something that you can hold on to. So it's a non-fungible token, and those things act in such a way of they have limited quantities, correct? They are tracked through a blockchain, so basically a digital ledger, and it tells you who owned it, dating back to the beginning, as well as what it was transferred for in, monetary value each step of the way. So now you're talking about, in layman's terms, a stock that comes with not only a certificate of authenticity, but a transaction list telling you who owned it before you touched it, right? So basically what we're talking about, and not to downplay it, it's a digital stock that occurs with value according to a community, just like the stock market, right? We're talking about e-commerce, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of mirrors the regular economy. The more people that are investing money in it, the bigger it gets, the more value things have. But at the same time comes off-brand things like this apes in space thing that we were talking about. So the original ones that were there in the space beforehand, talking about the bored apes, right?
Yep.
Those things kind of erupted to this high rollers status because they were one of the first to do it and to do it with quality. So now we see people kind of clamoring to get it. We're seeing um, high level people like Steph Curry, Kylie Jenner, different celebrities wanting to jump on it because it's the latest thing, and it's kind of like a token of, oh yeah, I have this. To me, in my head, it's kind of like having a black card, right? It's you throw that thing down and you let people know like, oh no, I got that because I have X amount of money that I can play with. So now you're saying, hey, I got a bored ape. That thing that I own, it's digital. You can't see, you can't hold it, but guess what? That thing is worth $250,000. So it's kind of like a new stock. It's a new way of showing a stock portfolio. So I know that was a lot right off the bat, but that's the consensus. I just wanted to
And
kind of
and
Damn
put
one
it
good.
thing I
all
want to
together.
add, that was awesome. There are people that are even more invested and have an even higher level of experience with crypto and NFTs that are saying that you cannot equate crypto or coins. Like Bitcoin is not
Mhm.
supposed to be equated with the US dollar. A Bitcoin is just a Bitcoin. And these NFTs, these assets are just going to be those assets. So their value, in a way, is still undetermined, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd kind of think of it as a like a new currency, right? People are caught up on it's an item when technically it doesn't really exist, right? Like the US dollar technically doesn't exist. We back
Correct.
it up in the US banks. It was originally
Exactly.
backed up with gold. We got off the gold standard forever
Mm-hmm.
ago.
Now it's
And
just an agreement.
most of our money is yeah, most of our money is credit and fake.
hmm
But it's kind of like a new currency, right? And we're in this time, it's elongated, but we're in a time right now where we're trying to find what the value is of this new currency. It just doesn't look like a paper dollar, it doesn't look like a metal coin. It is a new type of
It's not.
currency
Yeah.
that takes different shapes,
Yep.
and
Awesome.
people are
Well,
getting caught up
you know,
in
you know,
it's
you
a
know what I
it's a
kind of,
JPEG or it's a
kind of
model,
think of it
like.
like for me, it's kind of like this. Like I'm getting the currency is what it is, and then I get something cool just for having the currency. So you get that little
Yeah.
digital asset that is what it is, but the monetary, the currency, the token is everything. But you get
Mm-hmm.
that item to now flex with.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Okay.
the token, the face value of it is the flex, and then
Yeah.
knowing the price is the
Yeah.
muscle behind it. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's right. So yeah, it's like that. But yeah, stare at where take ask your question the way you work. It seems like you were going somewhere.
No, it was just one of those things I wanted to try, and obviously not everyone is always going to be privy to this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around things
Yeah.
if you don't have something to base it on. And I
Mhm.
think NFTs are one of those things that people are like, "Oh, it's just a picture," or "Oh, it's a 3D model." Like, why am I going to
Yeah.
pay $2,000 for a picture of an ape in space? Like, why would I
Mm-hmm.
pay for that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like,
It
well,
sounds
you're getting
ridiculous.
caught up. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're getting
Mhm.
caught up in the face value, like the face, maybe not even the face value, but you're getting caught up in what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
you're
Yeah.
forgetting that it is an investment.
And a
Like,
I
technology.
mean, yeah, and that's the thing
yeah,
too. Like no one, people talked about Fortnite for people still talk about Fortnite, but the reality of
I
it
still
is
play.
like, yeah, like and you invest in those skins, right?
Yeah, and it's one of those things like, yeah, you invest in what you like and you're going to look into what you like. So some people just like other things. I mean, look, I have a Funko, right? Like I invested, it's in a nice little thing, right? I like it. Oh shit. I like it and I paid X amount of money for it. Right now, it's probably worth double. Now, to a normal person, I bought a toy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
to to
At face
to my
value.
wife, I wasted money on a toy,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I was to show someone, hey, I have this Funko, somebody that is in that community that knows the value, they could be like, yo, how did you get that? Where did you get it? And
Mhm.
can I buy that?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about investing it, and you have to invest with the right people.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you need to know that community, like you were saying, you got to do your homework because just just because at face value you might not see the investment opportunity or the value in this thing does not mean in real life that it's not worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because that little
Mhm.
Mickey toy that I just showed off, like, yeah, I might have bought it for $12, but if I check right now, I could probably get $100 off of it. Like,
Mhm.
if you saw me spend that money, you'd be like, "Oh, that's stupid. Why are you buying whatever
Yeah.
Mickey?" And
Mm-hmm.
then 3 months down the line, you check in, and I'd be like, "Oh, nah, I just sold that for $200." They'll
Mm-hmm.
be like, "Wait, you did that? Like,
Yeah.
oh, how can I jump on?" No, 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 you didn't do what you were supposed to do. The moment's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So
It's
it's
exactly what
kind of
it
like
is.
that thing, like, everyone is interested in something, and this is also one of our platforms for the talking heads. This is why I want to do
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Everyone
Perfect
is
segue.
interested in something, and I think the world is better for knowing the other things people are interested in,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mhm.
you can't keep yourself in an echo chamber, right? Like, why would you want to keep yourself in something that's just spitting the same information that you already know? To expand your mind, to live a more interesting life, is to learn, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So learning about an NFT, diving deep into this thing that, in my opinion, and from what I've seen in my life, most people don't really know about it. Like, yeah, you have your
Yep.
clout chasers or the people that stay up on trends that will be able to spit a fact at you, but they don't know the nitty gritty behind it.
Have they
Yeah.
Yeah,
have
because
they
they're
researched
definitely seeing the
it?
cost of it too. Because, like, yeah, like at face value, like someone spending $3 million on a sticker or whatever, it sounds ridiculous. But if you do your research, the NFT can change the world. It brings the world together. Because, like,
Yeah.
not to get all like, what's the word? The word is escaping me right now, but all like lovey-dovey and thing. But that brings everyone together. We're all separated by
Mhm.
currency, but this one
Mm-hmm.
thing can bring everything together. And I think
Yeah.
Yeah, it
that's
could
really
be a
cool.
universal.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
could be
So
because
this.
But
it makes me think
but
of
look,
like Cowboy
but look.
Bebop. It was just oolongs. It's just a one universal thing.
Mm-hmm.
At some point,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's still finding its way, like you said, Justin, and it's just becoming. It's obviously slow, but it's gonna become that one thing,
No, you
whatever
hit
it's
that on the head too, because it's crazy, because the other part to it, and then we can go into the whole VeVe thing, because I remember Justin did present that.
yes.
But the other
Mm-hmm.
little piece to that, into how this all ties in, is the word metaverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I was
So
gonna
Facebook, right? Formerly known as Facebook, now Meta, right? For metaverse, right? So you saying bringing the world together, bringing people together. This is what we're witnessing on a very small scale through VeVe on Twitter, right? Chatting
Mm-hmm.
with people, just being in that community, is this sense of togetherness. Like, yo, it's us against it's us against the world in VeVe right now, but it's not, we don't want the world to find out. It's us against the people who are doubting us, like, yo, like, it's nothing. We're like, yo, come on, just join us. We'll show you it's more than that. It's not like a we hate you type of thing. It's like, no, you're gonna miss out. Come and get on this bandwagon. Like, come on, y'all. Like, this is where the train is. Look, we're at the stop right now. Get on. Like, this is what we're doing. Every stop, we're just screaming, yo, come on, get. And this is what we're doing. Every single stop, as many people as we can get on, as many people as we can save and try to change their lives, because we all believe it's life changing. We're trying to get on. And this is every freaking body you meet in this community. Like, they will just stop and give you information. You know, it's just crazy. But to bring it back just to the metaverse for a second, that's where all of this is going, is to one place where we can all meet up. So in the future, whether it's a year from now, 5 years from now, they're all developing this AR technology to take us to port us into like this Ready Player One, a la what you said, type of environment where we're basically transacting with each other all the time, whether it's just a conversations. Now, my NFTs, right? NFTs are so they start with art, right? This is how the adoption period is. It's art. It's all the things we love, all your childhood memories. We have them in the real world as toys, physical cards, whatever the case may be. Your Funko Pop. We have all of these memories, all these things, and we've made them toys, posters. We made them things that we cherish. They're recreating all of these digital assets, these toys, these action figures, these characters, to port them into a world in which we will be existing and transacting with each other at a freaking crazy rate that we don't even understand yet. So when you port yourself into Instagram, to Facebook, MySpace, you're porting yourself into a meta world, basically. Right now, we're using this chatting service. We are in basically like a world that exists through chat. So everyone that uses it in the somewhat same format. This is the format of this structure. So when you move into a metaverse, everyone will be on the same type of structure transacting. So now when I'm running around and I have this expensive comic book in my backpack and I run into somebody just running around too, and they're like, hey, listen, I just picked up this Catwoman. The first appearance of Catwoman ever digital is going for $1 million. Yo, can I dig through your crates? Like, let's go back to your digital house. Let me go through your stuff and see what you have. You want to do a trade? Can I offer you more money on top of that trade? So you're gonna have to just be running around finding people. There's not gonna be people aren't gonna be putting things into a marketplace.
Don't
you're gonna
give
actually
them too
have
much
to
yet.
bump
Don't
into
give them
somebody.
too much yet.
So it's
I was just gonna say, it sounds like we're going back in time.
You're getting a little ahead yet. We gotta draw it back.
No, let's slow it down. But
so
the first thing I thought of was like back in the day, not back in the day, but like in olden times when there was just trading stuff for stuff. There was no money.
Yeah,
that's what
barter
it kind of. It's like we're going the barter system. Yes, it's like we're going back to that. Because I remember
but
when
that's
one time
that is the original
if
way
you go
of
even
being,
earlier. But if you go even earlier, like there was no eBay, like there was no internet. You couldn't find a Charizard you had to
flea markets.
Yo, Timmy in the
End up
third grade is
you
the
ended
only
up at
one
go
that
to a
has
flea
it.
market or a convention to meet up with someone.
Or you had to hear through the
basement.
grapevine, like, yo, Timmy in the third grade, like he's the only
He
one that
has
got
the
Charizard
hollow
right
Charizard.
Random garage sale.
Yeah,
Just
like
happened to walk by.
I
So
heard
we're gonna
he wants
jump
Crazy
Timmy
Bones
at the
and
end of the day, and we're gonna take that
Bro,
because Timmy
I
shouldn't
still
have it.
remember the house in Brooklyn where my friend Johnny, he had the first holographic Vaporeon, and we battled for that joint. Like, I still but think about how memorable that is for me, bro. I remember the house still. That Vaporeon, bro, with the little bubbles and the thing looking up, that shit is etched in my brain, bro, because I love that shit so much. I had to walk to his house. I had to go there. We battled. He lost. He told his mother I tried to take his card, bro. It got real. Like, yo, like, come on, bro. You lost. Give me the card. He went and told his mother. His mother was like, he can't give that card away. He paid too much for it, bro. But that created something more than just the internet. yo, I'm just gonna post it up there and make my money. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
there's no love in there. So now you're taking it back.
Mhm.
You're taking it
And we
back,
did it with
but this is the
Yu-Gi-Oh
way it's
too.
supposed to. Exactly.
Yu-Gi-Oh was
So
the last time I remember
Yeah.
really
so
going in
it's
there.
You would just
supposed to
do
be
that and
the
be
way
like,
it
yo, I
was.
want that card. Exactly.
Exactly. Like
So
So
like
go
like
ahead,
last
go ahead,
thing.
Justin.
Last thing. Rob, it's simple. I used to go ride my bike around the corner. Is anyone over there playing basketball? Oh no, they're not playing basketball. Got to go back home, wait an hour, do it all over again. Are they there yet? Oh damn. Call. Is Rob there? No. All right. This is like this. This is how you built relationships. That's how you built loving relationships,
Mhm.
bro. Like you
yeah,
spent time
Yeah.
walking around the block just to peek down the block to see if your friend was outside already. Spoke to his mom.
Yeah.
You made yourself known. So what I'm saying is, it's bringing it back to a time. Yes, it will be digital, but you'll still be interacting with people on a bro. There will be people that will be walking to your digital house to show up to see if you're at your digital house. You know what I mean? It would just be
Yeah.
people walking. So it's making it personal. But go ahead.
Mhm.
yeah. So we're getting to this point, and I know I said this like two other times, but this will be the last thing, and then we're gonna jump into the conversation of what VeVe is, how do you navigate it, what's on there. So last point before we get there. So in my opinion, not only from this conversation, but from what I know, research that I've done, people I've spoken to, NFTs seem kind of like the next evolution in communication almost, right? So when radio came out, what was the thing that radio had? Radio shows that it piqued the interest of people, right? There were like detective programs, there were superhero programs, not as we know them today, but their version, right? TV came out. Now you can actually see the things that you were reminded of. You could see things that you couldn't have seen before. Color
Mhm.
TV comes out. Now it's like looking in real life, right? Then we move forward, HG. Oh, now it's really like real life. I'm in the stands at my favorite sporting event.
Mhm.
Now we have internet. Internet comes around, same time as like TVs and stuff, but internet comes around and it's like, oh, I could send you this thing without having to write. I can send you a letter. Dope. Further down the road, I can buy this thing without having to go to the store. Awesome. Now, further, I can make friends from around the world. Obviously, with each step comes fraud, comes crimes, come very, very terrible things.
It's always the
But
negative.
unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, with growth breeds evil sometimes. It's just what it
Mhm.
is. But now it seems like we're moving past that, right? Now I've made friends online. Now I've made lasting relationships. How can I interact with a person that's halfway around the world without leaving the comfort of my own home? Okay, we're going to live in a reality that makes that possible. So these changes that happen every couple generations, always there's an opposing force, right? The norm is to continue doing the same thing you've been doing.
Mhm.
So when the new thing comes around, it really hits up against this kind of like, stop doing that. That's different. That's weird. Until that new different thing becomes the norm because so many people have adopted it, right? It's the grandma that didn't get a computer until she was 90. Now
Mhm.
she has to check her email,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right?
And then
It's the
she can't
father
use
that
it.
didn't play video games until he was, middle aged so that he could connect with his kids.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, there are things that come along and it comes to a point where you literally have to adopt it because it becomes part of the everyday life, right? Email and the internet, right? That was originally seen as a business thing, and
Yep.
then it was seen as a toy. Now it's seen as we cannot live our daily lives without an internet connection.
Mhm.
No one on earth, even if you're completely off the grid, there's no way that you can tell me that you live a fulfilling life knowing about the world around you without having an internet connection. You know, if you want to be a hippie and be out there mountain manning, do your thing, 100%. But the way that people connect now, it is the newest thing, right? NFTs, these digital communities, which I've never really been a part of any communities or anything like that. But as I grow up, you almost seek out that sense of community in
Yeah.
the things that you like.
Yep.
Mhm.
So now your community is moving to a virtual space, you're no longer really meeting up with the guys down the block. Like, yeah, that's still a part of everyday life. We don't exist only in the matrix, but now there's a bigger opportunity to know more information and people, and
Mhm.
it's moving towards this digital landscape. So right now we're seeing it as like the new frontier, metaverse happening, augmented reality. It was around 10 to 15 years ago, but no one really cared about it.
Yeah.
Now augmented reality is kind of like living in this fantasy world, and it's only going to become more and more real.
Yep.
Yep.
I was heavy on augmented reality when BBM was around with the QR code.
Mm.
Like when they
Mm.
created the QR code,
Yeah.
I thought augmented reality was going to start then because
Well,
that
that's a great
Yeah.
example, because the QR code, when it was first made, it was everywhere, and everyone
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, that's the thing."
Yeah.
And then it went away for a long time, and
Yeah.
people saw it as an antiquated, like, method of accomplishing tasks, which
Mhm.
it kind of was for a little bit. It was one of those things that was a little before its time, and
I still
now
think it's a very useful
Yeah.
tool.
Speaking
and
of,
No,
I
now
they
it's
used it
brought
for
it
even
my
more
back.
comic.
useful. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, they brought it back
Now
crazy.
you
I've
can
seen a
connect
sticker
everything through a
at a
QR code.
bus stop. I seen a sticker at a bus stop of someone's flyer with the QR code. I was like, "Whoa,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
fire!" Like they didn't even waste
Mhm.
the time
Well,
printing flyers. They just put a QR code on a sticker, and it
no,
kind of just had like a little words on it, and then you scanned it, and it just gave you. I was like it's just like, yo, the
well,
use of it is really crazy.
during the pandemic, right? Restaurants that they didn't want to give out
Menus.
menus, to stop germ
Oh
spread, they
yeah.
would have the QR sticker on the table. You scan
Mm.
that, you have your home menu.
That's right. Yeah.
So
It's
it
not
it just
as
seems like,
pleasing to the eye. I think that's why
yeah,
people are
yeah,
mad
Yeah.
it's
about it.
not it's
But
not flashy, and
yeah.
some people have been able to like include like little images or little filigree around it to try and make it more attractive. But yeah, this just seems like it's the next thing, and it's not going away. And the only way I can see it going away is if somehow the world just puts this massive like ban or tax on it, and they're just like, oh, there's going to be this massive barrier of entry for you to get in here,
Yeah.
which it seems almost impossible, but we never really know what's
we're,
around the
we're gonna
corner.
talk about that too. That's very prevalent in our
So
conversation. Yeah.
now, getting into like, I guess, our second half of this interview, we've been talking a lot about VeVe, and let's dive into that. What is VeVe?
So VeVe the is a closed environment where you can purchase, trade, and play with NFTs, digital assets. Um,
So it's a leveled up marketplace, right?
Well, I guess when you
it's
say
it's it's an
close,
Instagram.
Rob, you have to tell them.
It's like it's a,
I guess when we start from
yeah.
saying
So
closed and
basically,
open, basically there's two formats in which you would need to understand to go a little bit further. Is going to be like he said, is going to be one called decentralized and more of a centralized. So
mhm,
obviously using those words, decentralized would be more of like less control, no governors, no, it's just more of a wild wild west
mhm.
scenario. Centralized, if I lose my bank card, I call the 1-800 number and I get help. So that's the difference. So a lot of those
Yeah.
Bored
So
Ape
there's
Yacht
rules
Clubs,
and regulations implemented
exact,
in a centralized.
Yeah,
yes. So
yeah.
a Bored
So
Ape
so
Yacht
when I
Club
when I
is
say it's a closed
decentralized.
environment,
Go ahead. Yeah.
yes, yes. So yeah, so basically, like as of right now, the assets in VeVe, you use them within VeVe. But the difference between using your assets on VeVe and let's say a Bored Ape Yacht Club, like a Bored Ape Yacht Club, you can use it on Twitter as a profile picture. It's like that JPEG uh, format, and then you could use the community, whatever, Discord, blah blah. With VeVe, there's a few different ways to play with your collectibles, with your digital assets. So you have the store, which you purchase them for retail. So I'll pull up the example and try my best to show it. So this is the home page here. So this is
Okay.
where you would basically see what's coming out and then you'd be able to kind of, this is all the categories and things that they offer.
So just for the podcast listeners, VeVe is an app. So Rob was just showing it on his iPhone there. It's in
Yes.
the marketplace. So it's an app with a homepage and it breaks down in different categories.
Yes. So it's an app. So once you purchase, if you're lucky, successful enough to purchase on drop day, because it has become a little bit difficult as of recently, but it's not impossible. You have your collection. So this is kind of an example of my collection. So here, this is the collectible category. These are the digital 3D assets. And then you have your comic books. So these are all my comic books that I own. So yeah. So within your collection, another way to play is you have a vault. Your vault is basically a metaverse within the app. So with this vault, people create masterpieces, they create art pieces with combining collectibles together. So whether it's Spider-Man and Superman facing off, or it's a combination of different things, because you can mesh your collectibles together. People create weird things with their collectibles. So
Like
it's
Batman's head popping out of
another,
Superman's body. Like, so you'll have a Batman head on a Superman
yeah,
body
like,
because they merged them together, and so you get all different
yeah,
combinations. People making homes out of posters, and
yes,
it like someone recreated the Rainbow Road from Mario Kart. You know how the Rainbow Road, like, so you see like Captain America like sprinting, and he has on his feet, he has the cars from Back to the Future, the DeLorean. Like many, so it looks like he's
Oh, dope.
skating on DeLoreans while running, and he's on top of the Rainbow Road. And then in the background, you can see like other
yeah,
people, like the Joker inside the DeLorean with his head out, like, and his gun like out the car because his figure, he's holding a gun. So it's like people are mashing together to make
yes,
these big things, and you're just looking like, whoa, the creativity from, so that's something of its own. That's took on a life of its own,
mm-hmm,
that thing.
Yeah.
So
yep,
Yeah.
VeVe's went from collecting to creativity. Now people are relearning the like, or retaking up their
That's
If
artistic
people
dope.
can
side.
see on the video, Rob is showing off a 3D model of the What If Spider-Man with Doctor Strange's cloak, and it's a 3D model that you can kind of manipulate on the app and show it in like a real space.
yeah.
So
So another amazing thing about it too is like you don't only have to play within your vault. You can also throw your pieces in augmented reality. So they can be in your room. They can be
mhm.
on water, whatever. And you could take photos. And again, when you said earlier, like, the best way to describe this app, it's more like an Instagram, because you can take these photos, you can create these masterpieces. You can record yourself doing them, you can create a video, and then there is a social feed that you can post.
Mm.
Hmm.
So not only are you able to create artwork with art, but you can display it. And
Mhm.
you can I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, you could display it and you
You
could
can
post
share
it
it
to
to
a
the
social
social
feed.
feed.
Yeah, so basically, so when you create your vault, right? So let's say Justin creates a masterpiece in his vault, he can actually post his vault on the social feed, and I can click in and walk around his vault and check out his pieces or his artwork or his
That's
collection.
really cool.
So Gary
So
Gary
you
V,
can explore someone else's 3D space
yes,
without
Yes.
messing it
yes,
up or anything.
exactly.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's another like when people
Kind of
say
like a
metaverse.
museum.
Yeah, it looks like a museum. It looks like an art gallery.
Mhm.
But Gary Vee says a lot of things, and I'm not really one to advocate with everything that he says. But one thing that he did say that stuck
Who's
with me,
Gary Vee?
Yeah.
Before
Who's
you continue, just give a quick thing. I know
Gary
who Gary Vee is
Gary
with
Vee is
VaynerMedia, but just
he's an entrepreneur that is very very well known in the NFT space. He's one of the bigger social influencer names that are pushing it. He's gotten his recognition from reselling, from doing different entrepreneurial things, and he's made a name for himself. So you know, a lot of people respect his opinion, and a lot of people follow him, like a Tim Robbins. He's
Yep.
very much the art, you know, 2020, 2021, like the present day, you know, Tim Robbins, Jordan Belfort, whatever, you know,
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. So he said that, you know, if you have a Porsche, if you buy a nice car and it's in your garage, no one's going to be able to see it. Only you're going to see, and you're going to be able to say, like, yeah, I own this car.
Or a few
With
people in your
NFTs,
area.
right? With NFTs, anybody around the world can see what your collection is. They can see it at any time. They can be a part of it, you know. So that's
The
one of the
flex is
bigger
just that
things
much
that,
more bigger because you
yeah,
can flex to
people aren't
multiple
able
amount of people.
to see that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So
like
it's like,
he
you know, the
said,
perception is like, oh, why would you want that? You know,
yeah. So
like
he posts
it's
his
not real.
social.
You can't do anything with it.
So he posts his
Mm.
social.
You know.
He posts his vault to the social feed, and then that gains traction
Mhm.
there. So you know, like if you have the greatest Jordans ever made, you only see them if I want to put them on my feet. One, two, if I happen to walk by you and you notice. But if I'm putting it in your
Yep.
face and and you're giving me a whole world to display it, yes, it does. It does. If you know, people will acknowledge it through swipe through. Some people will swipe past, but what happens is there's more engagement on that than just me just walking down the street saying, "Hey, nice kicks," you know. So it becomes a whole thing. So he's just showing right now the social feed of how people are taking pictures of different things on the
So it looks like
tabletops.
someone put this on the table.
So so these are
That
just
was an
assets.
AR.
That one
Yeah,
was an
that was
AR.
an AR. Yep.
Mm.
And then, like, you know, this person is they probably have a listing or a bidding. They want, you know, more eyes on it so they can post it.
And there's a
People
marketplace. So
can
what he's
flex their
moving to is a marketplace right there, the actual live selling marketplace. There's auctions, and
someone's vault.
and the thing about it is we're talking about the VeVe side of it, but VeVe has a coin, a crypto, a token, right? That's called
Yes.
OMI.
Mhm.
So that's when you're transacting these NFTs, you're actually trading OMI in a sense. There's a price that's equated to each one of those things, and it's how much OMI really. So
Mm.
Mhm.
it's actually getting people to transact in crypto without them knowing. You think remember we said face value, and then there's the back end of the system. The back end of the system says you're trading crypto. You're trading to OMI. The front end says you traded a Batman forever. You know, like something like
Yeah.
that. So it's like without you knowing, you are in crypto. So just to go back real quick, we are going to a decentralized type of system very soon. We're actually switching over, so that's what's happening. But when Rob is showing off these NFTs and these digital assets, you cannot lose sight of the fact that there's actually, like Justin alluded to before, like a gold that backed money. The cryptocurrency is backing that asset, that NFT. So that is a very prevalent part of what's happening. And the like we said, face value, we just want you to buy the item and what you're buying. You want Spider-Man, buy Spider-Man. But we'll teach you about OMI later on. And this is what's happening. This is like taking people through their, you know, leveling them up to be able to go ahead and go see what Bored Apes are about in a sense, if they wanted to take that route. But now if we take it and we look at it from this scope of saying if 90% of NFT projects are going to fail, IP should stand the test of time. Spider-Man should stand the test of time. These have never been intellectual properties that's equaled zero. Spider-Man has never been worth $0. I don't care what Spider-Man thing you pulled out, it's worth a few cents. I don't care what item you have, it's just never been zero. So when you look at if anyone can survive these things, is that $0? Hell no. So you know what I mean? Can't get that for $0. You know, come on, it's just not gonna happen. So you're talking about these things that are look, he can go on and on. That's
You got a whole
Spider
thing.
Ham. That was Spider Ham.
Yeah.
So look,
He
I
looked
love
like
this thing.
Spider-Man. He ain't worth zero.
Yeah. So
Oh wait, I think
hold
you cut
on,
out.
E.
Oh, Ernest, It, we can't hear you anymore.
Oh, damn.
The headphones might have died.
Technical difficulties here. Well, Rob, what were you gonna say?
So I'm just gonna go back into the app. So another feature about it is the market where you can, if you don't get the collectible at the retail, you can buy it in the aftermarket. Everything is bought in gems. 1 gem equals $1. Um, when you can upload gems through your Apple, your Apple account. Right now, currently, the max gems that you can buy at a time is $600, which
Mhm.
surprisingly for a lot of people that's an issue because people want to put in thousands, and it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it, it takes a long time for them to do it. Um, we can't hear you, E. Yeah, we can't hear you. I think the headphones might have died. Um, so the great thing about it, just to touch off of what he was saying about the IPs, um, they have smart contracts as well. So these bigger name brands have smart
Yeah.
contracts tied into this app. So you got to understand, like, logistically, if I'm Disney, if I'm DC, you know how
Yeah.
much money I'm saving on packaging, shipping, you know, uh,
Yeah, because you just gotta make like a digital asset
right.
instead of
Which that
doing all that
don't
other
get me wrong,
stuff.
that does cost a lot of money because now you're paying an artist, the tech,
Yeah, but
the
talking in
time putting
like a
into it.
product chain, right? Like that's the first step to
That's
making
it.
this
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like we said, they have smart contracts. So it's like once you purchase that Funko's not seeing any more money after that.
Yeah.
That's it. You bought it. So when you resell that item, that's all you.
That's all your money.
So with these companies, they're gonna want to keep these things thriving. They're gonna keep their shelf lives, they're gonna have a lot of longevity with these.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why, VeVe to me and Ernest is a no-brainer. It's got the IPs. It has, they're the only ones out of a lot of NFTs where they're taking their time. They're not rushing things. The app has only been out for a year. They've actually been signing a lot of these big IPs 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Signed these contracts. So it's like they're not, they're telling us when they're announcing these IPs, then it's not as they go. This is just all in the works.
Yeah,
Now,
it's been a work in process.
yeah.
And just touching on IPs, I know we've said it before on the podcast, but it stands for intellectual properties. Rob is talking about VeVe has different contracts with Disney, Marvel, DC. So all the things that are being that are able to be
So
bought or displayed within VeVe are part of these bigger conglomerates. Like you can have Batman,
yeah,
Spider-Man, the DeLorean, all these different things in your virtual
and
vault to show off.
a very very prevalent thing that make these even more valuable that people associate with is first appearance. So we have the first appearance digital NFT digital asset Batman. We have the first Superman, Harley Quinn. Like you could just go on for days. Like you have a lot of firsts on this app, so it's a
Mhm.
race. A lot of people want to have these things because they know once we're knee deep in this thing, everybody's gonna want
That's it.
the top, the number one.
Yeah.
And there
I mean,
and
it's
there's
just like
so.
comic books, right? Like issue
Mhm.
1 is always going to be worth a lot because it was the first one.
Right,
The second
correct,
printing comes out is over.
yeah.
Straight doo-doo.
So the great thing about VeVe is it just has so much room to grow, and it's a social experiment. They have a lot of plans for the VV verse that we're supposed to be getting next year.
Mhm.
When I bought into this, I started in September. I was buying comic books for $10, and I was doing everything in my power to buy as many as I possibly could. Those same comic books today are now
Mm.
over $100
Wow.
Each, right?
each,
Yeah.
and I bought them in September. We're in December, and they keep hitting new ceilings every week. They hit a new ceiling. Now, this tip is only going to work for you guys, right now, unfortunately, because the episode will air at a later date. But they just announced that starting on Monday,
Tomorrow.
December December 13th is going to be the start of the 12 days of VeVe. So
Mhm.
as a result of that, people get an inclination that they're going to announce a new IP or we're going to see a new
Yeah.
character. So as soon as that happens, the market goes down. So you guys right now, today, if you guys decided to dump some money into VeVe, you're getting everything at 30% off.
Mm.
Potentially more because the 12 days of VeVe haven't even started yet. So, you know, just throwing it out to make the calls, call whoever you got to call, arrange whatever you got,
Cool.
make your checkings to the savings, to the savings, to the checkings, whatever you got to do, because these gains are real, and it's the thing is, the funny part about it is, and I'm gonna use a very crude example, but I have the best intentions.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Mhm.
I've been telling people about this app, right? Been telling people to buy, do this, get on it, and the funny part is it's like you will have fun because obviously we all like Spider-Man. We all like comic books. We all like collectibles. It's all there. But
Mm.
yet it's like people are like looking at me like I'm asking them to kick puppies. You know what I mean? Like I'm not asking
You
you to
know,
kick a puppy.
you know what's fun? You say it's fun, and it reminds me back in the day. I want to have 2 points. Back in college, and we all played Pokemon on our Game Boys and DSs,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I remember whenever you go to GameStop, you get that special Pokemon that you could only get at GameStop. I
Right.
remember our best friend Andrew was like, "Why are you guys getting so into these digital things? They don't provide anything." And I remember telling her, "I was look, it's fun. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
at the time, it's fun. We're still kids in college, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not making money, but we're not thinking like that." And
Mm-hmm.
the way you're describing Vivi to me sounds like Pokemon, but now you can actually make money
It's
with
the
these
exact
digital concepts.
same thing. And I'm
Because I'm
telling you
like,
right
yes,
now.
fucking Pikachu at level 100, that's it. You're not going more. I can't give you an extra rare candy. It's not worth anything. I can trade it to you. It's gonna mean something to you because it has.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have sentimental value. You will have money behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and it's like you said, like that Spider-Man will never equate to zero, and that's a fact.
Yep. So
Ernest, were you able to get the mic working again, or nah?
I think it's like last time, Justin.
yo, try
Mm.
going in your settings on your computer and just um put go to the output, right? Is it output or input?
It's
So why don't you go, if you go into the settings of the screen right here, the little thingamabob,
Oh
right
yeah, the
now,
gear right next to your
like
name.
you can go take the little gear in your corner, take the mic off of the AirPods and put it to your computer mic, and then you'll be able to talk. You should be able to change it from there.
if not,
No,
he can
nothing.
just.
No? Oh, well, you tried.
So if you have like wired headphones, just plug it in that thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, always fun to talk about technical
yeah,
difficulties. Sorry,
it
guys.
Right
happens. Um, but
now, we can't hear you. How'd you fix it
Go
last time,
ahead, Rob.
Justin?
Go ahead.
so
I had to remember, I had to shut everything down and
All right,
restart.
gotcha,
man.
gotcha.
But Ernest, you might not have to do that.
Well, we'll hope
Rob,
not.
keep going.
So yeah, so
Yeah, go ahead.
basically, the cool kind of crazy thing about getting in early is once this, and this is what Ernest was touching on earlier. A lot of the things that are on the market right now only have 120 listings, only have 300 listings, 500, 1,000, whatever, what have you. So you got to imagine in a year from now, there might those particular items that only have a few left on the market might not even be on the market anymore. So
Mhm.
it's like if you
Yeah.
want, you could come in, get that zombie hunter Spider-Man, and you lock yours in, or you lock a few of them in, and then once it's completely gone from the market, now you set your price, whatever price you want to sell it for. Or like Ernest said, they're gonna have to come to your house, go through your collection, and be like, oh well, I have this, I can offer you this as a trade, or gems, or even the coin that powers it, the Omi coin.
Yeah.
Another thing it kind of reminds me of, just as like another nerd tidbit, is like it kind of seems like an Animal Crossing, right? Like you
Yeah.
live in this virtual world, you build your virtual house, you fill it full of cool stuff that you like, then
Hmm.
you can have anyone, you can just open it up to the public, or you can invite someone over and be like, "Yo, come take a look at this."
It is Animal Crossing on crack. That is the best example that you can set it to. It is the
Which
exact
reminds
same
me, I still
thing.
need to go to your house
Yeah.
because I recently got Animal Crossing.
Dude, I've been
Oh.
slacking on my Animal Crossing, but that's all right
Bro,
because
but you don't even want to come to my island's amazing.
But I was
yeah,
gonna.
man.
So I had a
So
question though.
yeah,
I don't know if you guys mentioned this, but all the NFTs in VeVe, it's all in VeVe. It's not like you can upload anything
so what
as of
Ernest
yet.
was mentioned earlier, it
Yeah.
is they're in the process of moving blockchains. So they're
Mm,
changing from the current blockchain, more centralized, and they're moving to Immutable X, which is a decentralized platform. So
okay.
the only things that we don't know yet is the bigger IPs might want to only keep their assets within VeVe. So there are independent artists that have art pieces on VeVe that you will be able to go on OpenSea, and you can
Mm,
pay Ethereum to purchase them. But as far as like Marvel, DC, Universal, we don't know if they're gonna want that. Which,
got it.
it really it doesn't it shouldn't even be like a phase thing that really questions. Like some of the more like stickler guys have something to say about that, but they get shut down because it's like, yo, like they're already like one of the bigger things that kept people away from VeVe in the beginning was they were saying it was not real NFTs, that
Mm,
they were just digital assets, and weren't on the blockchain, so they weren't real NFTs. But that
mm,
wasn't the case, and now they're moving everything over to Immutable X, which is like we mentioned before, a decentralized platform where you be able to go on OpenSea, or there's another Immutable X has their own marketplace, I believe, as well, and you can buy VV assets. So yeah, that
yeah,
answers
because
So
that.
the
I
VV assets, you're saying of like the bigger, like Marvel, DC, like those types of IPs, like they might not be available, but the smaller, like independent artist stuff, like will be.
Yes, correct. So
Okay.
yes,
yeah,
and that's purely speculation. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
could be like that in the future, but with those IPs, they want to protect their assets.
Yeah.
They don't want
100%.
people to duplicate them and scam under. Because it still could happen. Like unfortunately, and that's just you would have to not do your due diligence to get scammed in a case like that. Like
Yeah, so I was gonna say like, and I had a question earlier too, because from my understanding with like NFTs, like let's say we mentioned Mona Lisa, like in real
Hmm.
life, obviously I can't afford to buy the Mona Lisa,
Hmm.
but I can go on my printer, download a Mona Lisa picture, blow it up, and put it on my wall, and
Hmm.
it's the same size and everything. Obviously, it's not the real Mona Lisa.
Hmm.
So you trying to like change that up. So like that picture of Spider-Man from Marvel on VeVe, I buy it. It's mine, but someone can like copy it. They just don't have the what was the term you guys used? The ownage of
Yeah,
that
they don't
The
have
original.
the
token.
token,
The
but
token, yes, the token.
yeah. So I mean, and that's the thing. Like on Vivi, nothing is a JPEG. Everything is a digital asset,
Yeah,
even a comic book.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
you can screenshot it all day, but in the ecosystem, if you want to be a part of that community, if you want to
yeah.
make that type of money or whatever it is, like the
Facts.
value, then you can't. Like so, it's one of
Like
those.
you can't fake
Yeah,
owning it.
if you're
Yeah,
Like
yeah, if you're just gonna
you
get
can
it, just
fake
to put it
saying
as
that you have it. Like you can
yeah,
take pictures of it, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you saying like you going somewhere and be like, "Oh, Like you see a cool car and like, oh, it's my new car. You put it
Yeah,
on
that's
Instagram
Yeah.
or
like the
whatever.
kid
It's
that
like,
was like, "Yeah, I have the Charizard," but he never brought it
yeah,
to school. It's like, "Yo, you gotta bring it to school. We don't believe you." You know?
Exactly.
yeah,
So yeah, it's like people can still do it to put a wallpaper on their phones, but they can't say they own it.
Yeah, I mean, at that
yeah.
point,
The
you
ones
just
that
a
were
All you
like,
can
fan.
oh, I
do.
have a girlfriend,
You
but
know?
she's at a different school.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
you just a
She
fan,
lives in
bro.
Canada. She lives in Canada.
You took a picture. You know what I mean? Like you don't own
Yeah.
that. So, and another cool thing that I didn't mention before, the comic books you can actually read them in augmented reality. So they
Yeah.
tilt. They, you can. What I like to do with the comic books is I like to blow them up as large as I can, and I just walk on the pages. And it's one of the
Nice.
coolest, oddest things that you never thought that you wanted to do, but the fact that you can do it, it's just like, whoa, this is.
It's
Now I see.
very Ready Player One. Like
Yeah,
when I read the
exactly.
book, they're just like, oh, we did this. We went into a different quadrant, and I was like, oh, perfect example. You were in the movie of that Stephen King movie. Oh, wow, I'm like forgetting the name of the movie, but they were in the movie.
It?
No, not it. Like there were multiple like 80s movies, but like one of them was not Back to the Future. It's one of those 80s, but you were like in the movie, but you had to say each line verbatim to get through the next scene. So that's what it kind of
Okay.
reminds me of. Like you can get into
Mm.
your page in your comic book. Let's say it's a game, you have to know the line that Superman is gonna say so you can turn the
Oh,
page.
okay.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking as you were saying, like you can walk on the page. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
they
Well, the
so
could do
next thing
something
I'm
like
sure
that.
will be, yeah, I'm sure the next step in this evolution, right, of NFTs is going to be more interactivity. So, like, you'll be able to walk on that comic book, or you could shrink it down, put it in a pocket, or you can just rip it up in front of
but
someone
see
and
the
then
thing is,
snap your fingers and it comes back together.
yeah, and the thing
Yeah.
is like, I I want to simplify what you just said, right? So basically in a more practical world, in
Mhm.
the near future, when you have, when Apple decides to make their VR or their augmented reality glasses, it'll go hand in hand, and you'll be able to, like, right now I can walk on the pages, but I'm only limited to my phone screen,
Yeah.
and I move it around to see everything. But eventually I'll just have my field of
The
view
glasses, yeah.
will be whatever I throw into AR, and I can play with it that way. Now, the gamification aspect of VeVe is very interesting because, everybody wants a gamification aspect, but it's funny because the VeVe, when they approach it, I had the opportunity to ask them this question in an AMA on Twitter. That's another reason why Twitter is really great too, because now with these spaces, they host spaces where anybody can ask questions. They
Yeah.
bring you up on the stage. You guys got to get on Twitter, especially with your podcast. If you got, there's just I feel like you'll be able to grow your channel much faster on Twitter than Instagram, but that's a different thing.
Mm.
But I asked them, about the gamification aspect, and they said they didn't really have any plans for gamification at the moment. But the interesting thing is, because of the ecosystem and because of how well the community is, there are people that creating their own gamification within the environment, within the community. So people can do scavenger hunts in vaults,
Hmm.
or they can do giveaways like Ernest said, on the Twitter spaces. Ernest says, well, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Whoever gets the number first, they get a free comic book. So they're giving us the playground. It's a sandbox right now, you know what I mean? And it doesn't really have to be these things. They can just let people build the world. They can sit back a little bit, and they can grab little gems, little pieces from us, from the community, and say, hey.
Yeah, well, you think about it, it's kind of like the same thing as like Minecraft, right? Like the guy made it as a space to be able to create, and then now it's blown up to something, it's 10, 15 years old now,
Mhm,
whatever, and people have been able to run other video games in it, create their own games, make
mhm,
these masterpieces of art. And it's like I'm sure that guy had no clue, or at least wasn't thinking about those extra abilities
mhm,
or those extra opportunities within his space, until the someone else thought outside the box and was like, "Oh, if I put this here, I could do this with these assets."
mhm.
So yeah, yeah, I could see it growing in that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity on it right now. Even if you're listening to this and don't get intimidated, because when I got onto VeVe, Ernest told me about VeVe, and like we said earlier, I was the collector guy. I was the guy that was into all these things, and I had seen VeVe so many times and never paid attention to it because when you look at something right away, there is a level of intimidation or a level
Yeah.
of ignorance where you're just like, I don't know, and it scares you away. And it took him to be like, no, bro, I really think you should check this out. Like, what are we're missing something here. So I looked into it, and I was like, okay, I see. All right, I'm once I got the layout and I understood the app, I looked into all the channels of it, really got myself on it. I said, okay, this is cool. I spent $100. I bought a couple things, spent $100 on the market, not in the store, on the market, in the aftermarket. And that's the difference. The difference is, if you believe in something, if you want to be a part of something, you got to be willing to buy into it, you know?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
this is not every case, but in my case, on my first comic book drop, I hit a secret rare and I sold it for $2,000. And now
Nice.
I was able to really go into my account, and just, I had a shopping spree. Now I didn't have any limit at that time, and I could participate and feel a sense of like, oh shit, this is cool. I got the high. So when me and Ernest were first on it, there were a lot of things that we were like, oh, we can never buy that. Nah, we'll never be able to get this. Now me and Ernest, because of our conviction, because of how much work we've put into it, and how much we believe in it, we're not limited. We can buy any collectible on the app now. And it's not because we had a bunch of money. We're not whales. We don't have money to throw away. We do work for our money, and it's because we believed in it. We took the time to understand it, study it, learn it, apply what we know to it, and now we really have a great sense of like establishment in this thing. We believe in it, and we just want to share that. We want to share that with the people we love, the people that we care about, because it's something fun. It's something that, like, there's so many. I've spent so much money on Dragon Ball Z games on my phone, and I can't do anything with it. You know what I'm saying? Now,
It's just there.
now when Dragon Ball Z comes out on VeVe, they're talking about you can burn Vegeta and Goku and turn it into a Gogeta. You know what I'm saying? That would be crazy. That's a gamification aspect. That's not a confirmed thing. Don't take my word for it, but that's it. It's a potential thing that they
It's a
could do. It's a
possibility that's out
possibility.
there. Yeah.
And that's
It just
another thing
sounds like
too.
things are limitless, though. It's like
I
you can say
mean,
anything
Yeah.
and it can
Well,
happen.
it's very possible, and they really listen to they do a great job of listening to the community. These guys that run this app, they're established businessmen. One part of them had a series of comic book stores and card stores. He's been a collector his whole life. And then the other aspect of it, he was a businessman that had different ventures. And one of the greatest people that they have on their team is Alfred Kahn. Alfred Kahn is the goat of licensors. So
Mm,
Alfred Kahn is responsible for bringing Pokemon to America.
mm.
He is
That's
behind
legit.
VeVe. So it's like, everything is pointing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really like you don't have to really look that hard. If you want to find something about VeVe, like, you'll find it. You know what I'm saying? The information is there. And it's almost too good to be true sometimes. Like, and I say that because, like, we've like I said, like, to close it, I was doing this in high school on eBay. I was going to Toys R Us and going to all these different stores, buying collectibles, buying what I like, and whatever I got in return, I wasn't looking for the return, but if I got a return, it was great. You know what I mean? And on VeVe, I'm becoming fans of things that I wasn't a fan of before, and now I could participate in that particular, entity. And it's something, it's introducing me to something new. So there'll always be a new fan of something, you know.
Mhm.
The Voltron they just released Voltron on VeVe on Saturday yesterday.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything Voltron in my life, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. I heard it's one of those staple cartoons that people grew up with. I bought every single version of it. Like I have every version that came out, and I had no intention of collecting them, but they look so cool that it's like it's a no brainer. And the thing is, like, if you don't hit on drops, it can be discouraging. But if you could position yourself to, you know, leverage the market, the aftermarket, because a lot of the times, somebody it might not be worth that much to them, and they're willing to sell it for the same price as the price tag for retail, and that's
Mm.
an opportunity for you. So if you could position yourself, like me and Ernest, we're the extreme case. We're on this thing all the time, but it's because we have a goal in mind, and yeah, like, just, you guys, like, I really hope that you've learned a lot from us, and you know our DMs are always open, our texts are always open if you have questions. But the now is the time. If you're gonna do anything, you got to do it now, because it's it's moving fast.
Yeah, it's going. So yeah, no, I think that was great. That was definitely a good way to round this out. And just as a thing, I'm happy that you kind of addressed that at the end. Like, you guys are the extreme
Yeah.
case
Talking
because you
back,
guys
yeah, I
are
was scared
What,
so
Ernest?
in.
to
Oh
leave
yeah,
it. I
Ernest.
was
Oh,
Oh,
there he
there
scared to
he
is.
leave the whole
is.
time, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna try it. Like,
Oh, he's
I'm gonna
back.
Ah,
try it.
there it
Yes,
is.
I'm gonna
yes.
try
Got
it.
the
But nah,
audio to
Rob was
work.
doing his thing, yo. He killed that. But yeah,
I told you it would have
I
been
don't even know
fine.
what
Yeah,
else I could say to that. But
there we go.
y'all go ahead.
So that's no, that's great that we're able to sign off like this. So, yeah, I think we learned a lot. Like I said, I'm happy that you said you're the extreme case because you guys are in it and you have this goal and you're really spending an intense amount of time in this space and learning this stuff. So it I like that you said you're the extreme case, but it's funny to think about it in such a way of, like, it's not inaccessible to the common person. Like, yes,
Yeah.
if with anything, there's going to be people that know more than you, but you can always have your way and, know more than nothing. So I feel like this thing, especially with VeVe, it's super. I have a VeVe account. I've done my little thing going through it and everything, but it's super user friendly. It makes it very easy. Like, all it is trading commodities, right? Everyone knows what that is. You buy
Yeah.
something that you like, you see something that you like, and maybe you sell something to get some money. It's a very simple concept. It's very streamlined on the app, and it has things that
Hmm.
everyone likes, right? All types of collectibles, models. You got cars, comic book
Stamps.
characters, comic books,
The
video
U.S.
game
government, the
characters.
U.S. government has
That is the
USPS stamps
original
on the
Oh,
OG of
USPS
collecting.
That's
stamps
That
now.
that's
is
that's
Like,
that
sick.
is
it's
collecting. That's
insane.
the
it's such
first
a
thing that was ever
broad
collected.
appeal.
I mean, besides rocks when we was
Hmm.
cavemen, but
Yeah.
that's a whole nother thing.
So yeah, you got with VeVe, you have such this, mass appeal. Like, there's
Yeah,
not, like,
exactly.
I challenge
Hmm.
someone to go on there and not find something that they would want.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if you have an interest, I'm sure you can find something that's new to you that you could be interested in. And yes, you don't have to, in order to enjoy these things. And I feel like people in anything, any hobby or stuff like that, people
Hmm.
always see the upper echelon, right? And they're like, oh man, I'm never going to get to that. So I'm not even going to worry about it.
Hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
it's incremental baby steps for anything that you like. It's you try day after day to get a little better than the last day. So it's like any hobby you have, it's like
And
any talent
I'll
you
say the
have.
only thing,
The
the
only
last
way to
thing
get
for that,
better, or
and
the
you
only
saying you're
way to
hitting
learn
everything
about it, is
like
to dedicate some
on
time.
point.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you do, when you're adding that much time into everything, it's gonna be a situation where you're gonna be successful if you're putting the time in regardless. And that's with everything that you do. So it doesn't even matter like where you're dedicating that time, you're gonna find a niche. There's some dude that's gonna, he can make $1 million laying bricks. Then the next dude, he can't seem to put a whole, one piece of a paycheck together. So it's like you're gonna find an avenue. There's guys that sells posters out there. That'll make $1 million selling posters. One guy can't even make, find a way to print the posters off. So it's like you start from square one of not knowing anything. We got on the app, zero know-how, zero references to call on. Really, like it was just me and him, and it was tough because it was like people don't want to invest into things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just the little psychology of it all. So when I'm thinking of like investing, I always kind of try to look at like human psyche, like, and understand as humans, what do? We have a tendency to want to ride things when they're going up, right? Then when they start to depreciate, you feel, oh my God, I should get off of it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
in all reality, you should have a number that you're comfortable with. And even before that number
It
is
hits the
thought of,
panic button.
you should try to look at the charts and understand the pattern that this thing takes. Now,
Mm-hmm.
anything can happen, but there's going to be a few things that should happen. And what avenue do you take when that all, comes when it comes down to to the nitty gritty, when it comes down to that time, your instincts kind of have to take over in that moment because you've done the research, you've done the time. And then there's something, and I may not quote it exactly right, but it goes something like, like you're not like, first of all, there's two things. You're not going to time any market. You're never going to hit the top. You may hit the bottom, but you can't call it on either end. So that's why it's important to do the research to understand understand your asset, where it's going. Then when it gets to that point, if you've projected it somewhat right, you have to take it within that range when it falls into that range. If you know the cycles it takes, study those cycles. But everything is an education. Like we got into this app and it was literally buy everything that was like the best of the best, right? Then we realized we entered the pool with sharks. Now we're little tiny fish. Now I put my what was very important to me, my $1,000 or $2,000 into one item.
Yeah.
Just to find out that it's manipulated by people with bigger amounts of money than me and can afford to get more of those items. So now they're dictating whether I get the sell or not. So we had to learn that. You know what I mean? There's certain items at this juncture of my career in this thing I will not touch. So, and that goes for just everything. So I just dumb it down to a real life, like simple, real life stuff. Don't complicate it. It's very easy. Like you said, trading commodities. We all get who these people are. Everyone understands Captain America. Everybody understands Storm. Everyone understands Wolverine. You understand these things, right? You're trading. It's like the stock market of pop culture, bro. And of superheroes, of whichever niche you want to get into. Comic books. Comic books have never been so
That's the best way to
accessible to
say.
trade and transact ever. So now you're telling me there's
And there's comic
so
books on VeVe that
it's
people
just
would
this
never
whole thing
touch,
of
see, or read in their entire
knowing
lives.
that mentally, right? What you want to see happen, it may not happen, and just preparing yourself to react when you see those triggers. You know what I'm saying? So we usually, like, you're supposed to buy in dips. Warren Buffett. When you're supposed to buy when everyone's fearful. Oh my God, the market's tanking. Oh my God. You know what that means for us? Oh, you're
Buy
giving
low,
me
sell
30.
high.
You're giving me a coupon. You're basically saying, here's a coupon to the market. Since you're more diligent in your work and you have more faith into what you see, you can have all these gains. Because after people are being done fearful, the price usually goes higher than where it fell off from. So you end up making 50%, 70% gain, whatever the percentage is, but you'll see more gains through that dip and go up than run up. So it's a really funny thing of like how our mind works and our body works, and we see those. We are so addicted. That's why it's not healthy to look at those numbers every day. We do it, but we have an understanding of, even though I'm seeing this number and it changes, it doesn't mean like these numbers are so volatile.
Yeah.
Like both ways, you can't be emotional. Even when it jumps to one, for instance, we had a Walt Disney statue, right?
Mm-hmm.
It jumped up to 10K at one time, right? It dropped back down to 5.5K during a dip. And what would have been, we didn't have enough data on that item to know that if we would have sold it around 9K and bought it right back, we would have made a profit of 4 to 5K.
Yeah.
Now, this is just using an example, but you see how that, and then buy it back, watch it dip. These are cycles that it's going through.
Yeah.
So through those cycles, you can make money too. So it's just this, just so when people are understanding, like me and Rob knew nothing 3.5 months ago. Like you see how we're talking now, it's like as if we know something, possibly. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, bro, it just takes the time in the market, bro. You can't, like they say, there's no timing the market. There's only time in the market. So
in the market. Yeah. It's one of those things like you had said before, it's where you put your time. So if you want to know about something, if you want to be successful in something, regardless of what it is, whether it be NFTs, a hobby, a talent, like it's where you put your time. Because you could be great at something and just not know it because you haven't taken the time to learn about it. You know, I think people need to be open to, I guess, for lack of a better term, failure. Right? From the great philosopher Jake
bro,
from
we
Adventure
lost
Time,
money in the beginning.
sucking is
In the
the
beginning,
first step
that's
to being
tuition.
kind of good
That's
at something.
tuition. You pay that fee to understand.
So yeah,
A loss.
that's tuition, that's groceries, that's rent. And while some people might see it as like, oh, I don't have that to waste, like, okay, fine, but you also have time. Whether or not you believe you do, you make time for the things you like. So if you're spending 20 minutes going through Instagram, you have 3 jobs, right? You can spend that 20 minutes however you want. If you have 20 minutes a week, you spend it on what you want to spend it on. Like nobody's telling you what to do, but you have the opportunity. Especially in this day and age, if I could see homeless people with smartphones, you got the opportunity to look at something. And what you choose to look at, what you choose to hone, creates you as a person. You know, right now, me and Jay, we do this as a way to hone our abilities. I think we have natural abilities to talk with people, to learn things, and to want to share, right? We spend time doing this work, doing interviews, doing a podcast, so that we can hone our ability to share knowledge and to share happiness. That's what we get out of that, right?
Yeah.
I could never do this again and spend that time playing more video games. I have fun doing that, and I could get better at that. But you have a sense of, in my own opinion, you get different senses of fulfillment from the different things that you do, right? Although one thing might take more discipline to take care of and to get better at, you know, that thing ultimately will have a bigger payoff within yourself. So like just to round it all out to finish this, you know, NFTs seemed like a scary thing at first glance. They don't seem like they're going anywhere anytime soon. It's an opportunity for everyone, just same as like the stock market. You just have to
And
reorganize your
just the
thinking.
last
It's
thing,
literally what
not
I
even
did.
long. Not even
Opportunity.
long.
Yeah, it's an
If
opportunity
you
for
get in
people.
early,
So take the time to learn.
so everyone's worried about losing money. Your mistakes are easily forgiven when things are like in beta testing or the early phases. So you make a mistake now and it's easily forgiven. You have more opportunities to make money. More things have not been figured out. So when you're fearful, rock with it a little bit. You know, understand, explore that. Why are you fearful? Because you're not properly equipped with the knowledge. So get the knowledge you need to be properly equipped. And that's, you know what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah, the quote that comes to mind is like, you know, fear
Mm-hmm.
is a, a construct, right?
Oh,
Fear does not exist.
I was gonna give you one. That
Danger,
was
danger is real. You
Mm-hmm.
need to realize where your threshold of fear crosses over your threshold of
Mm-hmm.
danger, right?
yeah,
Just because you're
Mm-hmm.
afraid of something does not mean it is dangerous.
Mhm.
It means you are not used to it.
yeah.
So, with that being said, NFTs, check them out, do your learning. The guys, Rob and Ernest, they did say DMs are open. You can follow them. Uh, we'll ask them to list their stuff out before we close out. But in the podcast,
Description.
uh, in the description, we're gonna have all the details. In the YouTube description, we'll have the details, so you can link to everything you want. Find them on the various social medias, check out whatever they're doing. So let's. I think this was a great conversation. I think this kind
I
of shed
enjoyed
some
this.
light on NFTs. Jay,
I
did you
learned
get
a
a
lot.
lot out of it?
I've been quiet the whole time because I was just like, yes, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because no, like, not to like, I'm not gonna get off on a
Mm-hmm.
tangent, but literally everything you guys said, I spent that time learning on stocks, and now I
Mhm.
get it. I'm,
Mm-hmm.
but this is something, and I could be your testers because you guys have
Mm-hmm.
like an account. I don't have an account. I
Mhm.
might want to check it out and then come back to you guys and be like, this is what I learned. So, not you guys said everything, and I was like, it made sense to me. And
Bro,
yeah,
we're
people should just learn.
we're actively,
You have time to
people
learn,
are like joining a
just
group
do it.
chat that we have.
You don't ever stop
Yes.
learning till you're
People,
dead.
so we add one guy that we do conventions with, then he wants to add his friends.
Mhm.
So we're like scooping up people just to like talk to them. So we're not
Okay.
saying we know everything. We want to hear your experience. We
Mhm.
understand how you're taking the market, so we can better
Mhm.
Yeah.
analyze our situations and grow together as one
Oh yeah.
big ass organism that understand moves together and understanding how this thing flows.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
The
I'm down
most
with that.
successful people surround themselves with people that are smarter than them. You know, you got to get as much info from
Hmm.
as much people as you can, and
Mhm.
then you make decisions based on what you get.
Yep.
It's a growing thing, and that's cool. You guys grow your system like that. You learn more, you figure it out, you bounce
Hmm.
ideas off of
Hundred
multiple
percent.
different people. It's good to constantly refresh that pool that you go to, right?
True.
So,
You go,
so
Rob. You know
before we
your
sign
joints.
off
Name
here,
them all.
guys, where can everyone find you?
So you could just find me on Twitter, rxh underscore. I am on Instagram. My Instagram is a little bit harder to find. It's my name, Robert, but it's R0B3RTX. So you can find me on there. And then, really quick, before Ernest does his plug-in, for everybody that's listening to this episode, if you feel inspired and you do not have a VeVe account, if you follow J&J Podcast, you like and comment when this episode comes out, I will be doing a giveaway for a Miles Morales comic book, but you have to create a VeVe account and be a brand new user, and I will
And
give
that
you
and
your
that's a
first
and that's
NFT.
and just let you guys know
So
that's
yeah,
not
we
like
want to run up those numbers for you
that's not
guys.
a book to like poo poo at either. That's about it was just $80 before this little crunch we had. So you're
I
talking
like
about
that.
$60 right now, and that book is gonna go back up to $85 like in a few
Yeah.
days because we're in a little squeeze right now because of announcements. So my man's giving you damn near $100 for free. So and it's gonna go up. We're talking about
Yeah, think about that. You're getting at least $60 for free. All you got to do, like, subscribe, and comment.
Yes.
That's it,
So you
and
guys
you
could
get
determine
60
who
bucks for free.
who gets it. And you let me know, and I'll transfer it to
Mhm.
them. The mint number on this one is 26302. So that's how
Mm.
we'll keep it. That's the one that they'll get. It's Miles Morales Ultimate Fallout. Spider-Man No More. It's a very, very prominent book. Me and
It's a
Ernest
big comic book.
actually have, this is a quick VV tip. Like, we are stacking these
Yeah.
like there's no tomorrow. I own
So-
40 of these
Well,
books.
he owns 40 now
Nice.
after he gives one away.
So I'm giving
Wow.
one
But yeah,
away.
but listen, there's no limit.
So
There's no limit
Yeah.
to the stat game. Quick
Yeah,
tip,
yeah.
how
I-
one
I-
stack.
To be, I
Right?
have
Stacking
41.
gives you more power to then go ahead and spread. But if you have conviction on one great item, you should
Yeah,
stack it.
stack.
Like, why spread it out? If you know, like Miles Morales is a blue chip, gonna probably take the mantle from Peter Parker. So, my thing is you it's gonna be crazy. So
In
yeah,
the MC.
run it up.
yeah, the more you own, the more power you
I-
have, so you can dictate the
I
price.
currently own
Sounds
one.
like
If you
the
have
origin
I
story
currently
of
own
quarter of it
1.5% of all Miles
if
Morales'
you have a
books.
quarter of it all, guess what? You can name your price.
He's not
Look
lying.
at that.
He's not lying.
Ernest has.
He owns.
Listen,
Like, again,
if the other 99% are spread among what 3,000
there's
people,
only
Now,
21,000
there's more
of
people with
them.
more than me. I know a guy that
that
has
means
900 of
Ernest
them.
has
But
the buying power.
what I'm saying
and
is,
can
I'm in
set
the
price
pool with
in the
him. Like,
market.
yo, like, if you want to start tanking the
Oh, yeah.
price, I can throw 30, 50
Jeez.
up there with you and like always make
Yeah.
sure I'm at the bottom of the floor and always will get the sale. So yeah, I'm not saying you guys, what's the name? I don't dump the floor, but I'm just saying like that's the power of stacking, is knowing that you can, when these things run up to 1,000 a piece, and they will,
Yeah.
you will be able to
Mhm.
break off 1,000 a piece. And these are just, and honestly, like Rob said, we don't know where these are going. These could all end up 10,000 a piece. These NFT numbers are crazy. Like we don't even think being a millionaire is like good. Like $1 million in NFT money is like, ugh, like you might be middle class, and according to NFT talk. So we're like shooting for like we're ruthless. Like, and not to say we have ruthless money. We just, there's no limit to what we think we can achieve in this stuff. So that is
Yeah.
keeping us always on our toes.
Mhm.
That's
Listen,
good.
one place, and I
Plug your
said this to
Ernest,
socials,
y'all,
Ernest.
Twitter.
well, yeah, where can the people
My Twitter
find
is
you?
Yeah, what are your
EB
handles?
Smooth. You guys know how to spell that. 9. That's it. EB Smooth 9. All right, and that's it. And you're gonna see a big picture of a gold ape that I created in my vault. He's rocking another baby ape chain. You know what I mean? So we're listen. Jay spoke about flexing. Like we flexing our piece. Rob has a freaking ape wearing
Okay.
the Walt Disney Fantasia hat that goes for like 2. And we're just throwing numbers that understand that this man did not start with these numbers in this account, bro. Like, I hate to talk about numbers, but you have to give it to people. He did not have this money in it. His gold ape.
No.
I mean, his ape that's worth $1,000
Yeah.
is wearing a hat that's worth $2,000 that has a freaking Elsa standing next to him that's worth 1,000. Like, his PFP is worth like 5-6 G's. Like, I gotta understand that his PFP is like worth money. So it's like, it's funny that, and to the
Yeah.
person that doesn't know about it, it just looks like a freaking
Mhm.
PFP. It looks like nothing, but it's funny. Like,
Yeah, and that's the thing.
they
It's
wouldn't understand.
like I would love to post some of my stuff on my Instagram, but it's just
Yeah.
like it just doesn't. Yeah, it wouldn't. It would go over everyone's head, and that
Yeah.
and
Well, for that, you should
usually
just probably make a separate account to just
no,
talk
because
about NFT.
for that I don't need. I'll just keep my VeVe account. I'll flex on there
Yeah.
and
True.
Because
just
then if they like you there, then they'll go to your Instagram page. 'Cause I
yeah,
see a lot of
and
people going from TikTok to Instagram.
I very much want to be in the
Exactly.
realm of like, eventually
Mhm.
down the line. Like, I don't want people
Mhm.
to know who I am and associate me with
Exactly.
my account. I just want to
Exactly.
be, who I am on VeVe. So yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right, guys. Well, this was a fantastic episode.
Thank you for
I
having
know we
me.
originally had said like an hour and a
Yeah,
half,
man.
but
We're
we
happy to
went
have you on here.
2.5 hours. But hey, I mean, it's all good stuff. I love it. I love the long
Yeah.
form conversation. hopefully
Bro, just
this
put
video will do
VeVe up in
good
the
and we'll
title,
get
man.
some
We going
listeners
up.
and viewers
We going
and
up.
be able to give away that Miles Morales NFT.
Yes.
So
hmm Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just tag it NFT and VeVe, and everyone's gonna see it.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, this was a great
Oh yeah.
talk, very informative, learned a lot of stuff, and I think we made it easier for some people to kind of wrap their heads around NFTs, right? That's the goal,
Or
just
at
trying
least
to
take the
inform,
first
Mhm.
step.
educate. Yep.
You know.
So, you know, thank you guys, Rob and Ernest, again. Thank you for coming
Thank you,
on,
guys.
taking the time to talk to
Thank
us
you.
about NFTs. And as always, this is J and J. This is Jay, Justin Ruiz,
And this is Jay, Jeremy Francois. And
signing
just
Mm.
off.
to say the last thing, theme of this, fear is the mind killer.
Ooh.
Signing off, guys. Be good.